The road to glory ends here. The best against the best. 6 teams remain, but only one can take it all.
Ealing make it look so easy. Once again, Bedford unlocked the Coventry door. Little gap, lovely offload. That's beautiful from Coventry.
Worcester Warriors have come with a plan, and it seems to be working.
What a famous victory for Chinnor.
Pure ecstasy for those Hartbury players.
Every hit means more. Every second matters, because this is the playoffs. Who will be crowned champions?
26 weeks of regular season action are behind us in the Champ, and now for the first time it's through to the playoffs, and there are 6 teams who have qualified for these. We're about to watch the second of the semi-finals here at Sixways as the Worcester Warriors try and undo recent poor form in the Champ. They've lost 4 on the bounce when they entertain Chinnor here this evening. A little earlier on today, down at the Rec, it was Richmond against London Scottish in the Champ relegation playoff. The loser going forward to play against Blackheath for a place in the Champ next season. Let's go and see the best of the action from that one.
Pushing 5 metres out. Wilkinson is having a nibble.
They're getting great outside latches on these carries to get them over the gain line here.
Towards that post, and it's a dive! And I think this is going to be a popular score. It's the man that right at the start of the game looked as though he may have picked up an injury. But there's your answer. Luke Jones is our scorer. And it is exactly what Richmond would have dreamt about last night.
Yeah, very bold decision there to go for the corner. We were questioning it here up in the comms, and they've proved us right, or proved us wrong, sorry. Great ball retention, great carrying there, outside latches, driving the Richmond forwards closer to the line, and like any good 9, sniping when the opportunity's there.
And the reason why that's good, Billy, is not just the try and the 5, possible 7 points. It's the fact that they put together a set of processes there that work really well. In terms Jones going to carry it the same way. Little basketball pass over to Obonna. Obonna past the first man, pumping those legs towards the line. Jones looking for his second snipe. Referee's in position, peering in, trying to find out where it is. They go short side, and they've got another.
If they score.
Third time's a charm. Nugent. Better rolling ball. Looks inexorable towards that line. They look as though they're there. Jamie Parr's arm is in the air. And it's Harry Hocking at the double.
They really landed their punch there on that maul, Sam, and you could see they were creeping forwards, and the dam bust.
It is so tricky. It's tricky to execute, but once you execute it, once you get the wheels and the cogs moving in the right way, it is so difficult to defend.
100%, and obviously the warning on the last two mauls makes you have to be whiter than white in defence, and that gives Richmond the opportunity to win that punch and get their maul going forwards.
Hocking will be delighted with that. Alex Schwartz is on, and I think that is a standing ovation from teammates and alike for Luke Jones. What a servant he's been in these parts, Luke Jones. He heads back to Wales, but will always be especially welcomed in this part of southwest London. Obonna out wide, looked as though it was a score. Carry Shepherd off his left hand. Great line, inside ball, one more will do it. Bellamy coughs up the ball, it doesn't stick, it's gone forward. Now the referee saying advantage to Scottish here. Flat ball for Wilkinson. Suddenly we've got some speed and menace to London Scottish's play. Shepherd out the back, Lineker has to stop and go. Lineker towards that line, he thinks about reaching. Ball over the top, out here is Povey. Towards that line, yes, he gets there. Scottish eventually breach that line. Trying to add an extra couple of points. Oh, they need them. They need all the points they can get at the moment. Indeed, he did. Launched into the 22. Monson. Lovely offload. The man who was in the bin a few moments ago, Miles Wakeling on the end of it. Ball over the top. Obonna. This would be a popular score. It is. Chidera Obonna gets his 7th try of the champ season and guarantees that Richmond will play in England's 2nd tier next year. It's been a game which has had to be managed. They've had to work on it. They've had to go about it with an industry, with an endeavour. But slowly but surely they have smothered this game. They've taken everything out of it. Billy Harding and Obonna goes over for the final score. But this has been about each one of these Richmond players. 1 to 23. They've played their part this afternoon. 100%.
They've had a very clear game plan, haven't they, Sam? And they've stuck to it, and it's really paid off as the game's gone on. They've won.
He's not shy in coming forward, is he?
No, played with him and against him, and there's the final whistle.
A consummate victory in the end, one that was managed well. There were nerves, there was a little bit of caginess to start with, but ultimately Richmond have been the better side today and this afternoon, and it is London Scottish who will face the prospect of relegation. Richmond face another champ campaign next year. Full-time score from the Rag, Richmond 34, London Scottish 11.
Well, in the build-up to this one, Sam Larner had the opportunity to have a chat with Sam Handy about strength and conditioning here at the Worcester Warriors.
Hello, welcome to Sixways, and today we're asking everything you want to know about S&C, but we're too afraid to ask, with Sam Handy, S&C coach of the Worcester Warriors. So Sam, thank you for joining us. Now, first of all, what is S&C?
S&C would be looking at the physical aspects of a rugby game. And then as a department or as an S&C coach, trying to find the ways you can develop those physical areas and put your best performance on the field.
So when we talk about that, obviously we immediately think of the gym.
Yeah.
Is that the biggest part of it?
It's probably the foundation.
Yeah.
So all of those aspects on field, whether it's good running performance, being dominant in a collision, the foundation of those are developed in the gym, and that's based on how well you move, how strong you are, how much force you can put through the ground. So that's definitely the foundation, but there's a lot more to build on that on field as well.
Well, the two teams we've seen today, obviously Chinnor and yourselves, they've got a lot of ball carrying, a lot of kind of powerful forwards who are both massive and also fairly agile.
Yeah.
How do you, at the basic level, how do you develop that?
For us, we talk about out-hitting and out-running teams. That's part of our game model. So we look at how we can feed into that. What does outrunning a team mean for us, whether that's being able to repeat kick sprints or in phase D, being able to accelerate off the line hard multiple times. And then from a collision point of view, we talk about kill tackles and being dominant there. But it's basically looking at how we want to impose our game on them. We often look at ourselves first as opposed to what's coming and the best ways to train around that.
So in football, I know Jurgen Klopp was kind of a big push in terms of getting players to run more during games. So just in terms of the demands of a rugby game, how far would, let's say, a scrum half be running in a typical game?
You're probably looking around 7 to 8k for a scrum half.
Yeah.
So our top end would be within our backs, probably a 15, a fullback. They would run near to the 8k mark within a game. And that probably comes down to around 4 to 5k for like a front rower.
Yeah.
So that would be your range through the squad there.
So if you're at home, you might be thinking 4 to 5k. I can probably knock that out. So are they just running 4 or 5k's during the week, or is it more complicated?
It's what that comprises of.
Yeah.
So again, if you look at that positionally, our backs, particularly a back three, a lot of that will be at the higher speeds. Where for a front rower, a lot of that will be acceleration based. So that's one of our jobs, to look at how the demands change individually and positionally with each player. But yeah, it's not a case of just a plod at that distance, and that's just a game. So across a week, for one of our back three players, again, they would probably be up around the 20k mark across the space of the week and multiple training sessions.
Something that people maybe at home don't realise is the little kind of devices that you see sometimes players at the professional level down the back of their jerseys. So those are GPS devices which are, I'm guessing, measuring their outputs. Is it just distance long, or is there other things that you collect in there?
There's thousands of different numbers and variables you can take out of that, but we look at total distance. So no matter how they're covering that, what is the total distance they cover, high speed meters, accelerations, very high speed meters, which is our highest threshold we'll measure, and then the max speed they're running within a game. So there's plenty you can look at. It's just deciding what works for you and your team and what you want to get out of players.
So for anyone watching at home from grassroots clubs, what can they steal from the professional level that they can bring into their standard, where perhaps maybe they've only got 2 training sessions a week, perhaps the guys aren't doing a huge amount outside of those 2 training sessions? What can they bring from the highest level?
I think it's about getting the basics right. So any grassroots level, you can look at the teams and the levels above and say, what have they got physically? And the biggest difference you're going to see there is their strength characteristics. If you take, for example, our top front rowers, they would squat somewhere around the 260 to 270 kilos mark. At grassroots level, that tends to be quite far off. So it's just about closing those margins and looking what occurs at the top level, and how you can do your best to start to close that gap.
So I saw some questions from listeners and watchers at home. First one is from Johnny, who's up in Scotland, and he was asking, is it harder to attack or to defend?
Good question. I'd answer that by saying the average ball in play, so the average time we work before players can get a break, is around 45 seconds. And that can be as a attacking set or defensive set. Within that, obviously, defensively and from an attacking sense, you've got collisions, whether it's a ball carry or a tackle, a breakdown effort. So I think both sides of the ball can be pretty demanding. I've not given you an answer there, but I'd say, it's both sides of the ball pretty demanding, and going back to, we try to outrun and out-hit teams.
Yeah.
So it's about trying to get one up in terms of that capacity on the opposition. So defensively, can you fold quicker than they're setting up an attack, or vice versa?
So this one's from Phil. So he wanted to know, we're seeing through marathon running, for example, or cycling or football, all those kind of influences are coming into every sport, including rugby. So with that in mind, what are the next big advances we're going to see in rugby, do you think?
I think over time the game's is probably becoming more and more individualised. So it's probably gone are the days now where you go to more traditional running routes, and we'll be a club who's quite big on getting our conditioning from our rugby training.
Yeah. So
from a skill perspective, as opposed to your traditional running. But I think that the shift is becoming more individualised, and looking at the game, the demands of specific positions, and tailoring it around that, as opposed to your more generic, traditional running routes.
So last one, this is from Gav. He's 52. It's his last ever game of rugby. He says, I think he said that a few times before, today. He asked, is 48 hours before the match too late to start S&C training?
Never too late. Yeah, there's plenty of time. So,
well, that is everything you wanted to know about S&C, but we're too afraid to ask, with Sam Handy of the Worcester Warriors.
Well, a fascinating chat there that Sam enjoyed with Sam Handy a little earlier on today, and I'm delighted to say I'm now joined by Sam myself to take a look ahead at this game. And Sam, how great to have playoff rugby back in the Champ.
It's very exciting. I cannot wait. I mean, it's wet. It's doing nothing to dampen my spirits. I'm really excited about this game.
And all coaches that you speak to nowadays, they all say to you, everything that's gone before means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they do, although in Worcester's case they will be hoping that's true, because they have limped into these playoffs. 4 losses on the bounce. Since April and May, or since April I guess, the start of April, they've been the 9th worst team in the Championship. So they really have limped into these playoffs, and they will be hoping that they basically just took a holiday. They were in the playoffs, so they've taken a holiday. Now they come back firing. They just need to win 3 more games and they'll be championships.
But Everard has made a number of significant changes for this afternoon's game. A knee-jerk reaction? He's not that sort of character.
Yeah, he's not. I think there's some interesting ones. Sivu Ngavalagu is going to be in the centre for, as far as I can tell, the first time ever in his career. So that is quite surprising. I think the return of Will Reid, he's been back for a couple of games now, but I think finding his form after a finger injury early in the season, I think he's going to be crucial. He really drives that team around the park, and I was actually listening to some Worcester Warrior fans earlier who were not that impressed with Billy 12 Trees at fly half. He's in the more favoured position of centre today. I think everyone will be happy for that.
And when it comes to Chinnor, everybody's second club in the Champ, you sort of feel they've finished 5th, they've exceeded expectation, they've negotiated that second tricky season so well, they've got nothing to lose.
Absolutely, and also they've beaten Worcester twice. So, and the first game they beat them by a point, the second by 10 points. So they're trending in the right direction, and as you say, they've got absolutely nothing to lose. I was just speaking earlier to Clay Campton, their head coach. They train two nights a week, which is very similar to those of you at home in grassroots rugby. Worcester obviously fully professional, so this is a free hit for them, and one that actually they might even be favourites for.
What they might be favourites for, looking at the squad who were out on the pitch just about 20 minutes ago, they all look really relaxed as well.
Yeah, they really do. There's some quality players in there. Jamie Campbell I'd particularly call out, the second row, who leads the whole league in line-out takes. He's exceptional. He's going to be crucial to their success, and I know it's going to be something that Worcester will have looked at from an analysis perspective. How can they pick him off? How can they stop him getting the ball?
Well, all of that remains to be seen. Thank you, Sam, for your perspectives about the forthcoming game. Now let's go and hear from inside both of the camps. Tom, playoff rugby at last in the Champ. It's the end of your first season back as the Worcester Warriors. Excited, I expect.
Oh, so excited. I think it's great to have the playoffs back, isn't it? A bit of jeopardy at the end of the season. Not sure how Ealing will feel about it. I think they've run away with the league a bit, haven't they? So look, it's great to have the playoffs back in my day. I sound like an old man, but when I was playing in the Champ, we had the top 4 and playoffs to play for, and it's obviously back, and it's amazing to get some playoff rugby back at Sixways as well.
You obviously had some tough form over the recent weeks with 4 losses on the bounce, and I know you were particularly disappointed with those last 20 minutes against Coventry a week ago. How have the players responded this week?
Oh, really well, really well. I think we alluded to it before. We've not shied away from anything all year. Look, we're a new group that's come together, and it's been peaks and troughs all year. It's a very unique situation we're in. So there are loads to learn sort of every week. There's been things to learn coming back on a Monday. No more than there was this Monday actually. So look, we were in the game. We played some really good stuff in that first half last week. But what we can't do is let the floodgates open like they did in that last 20 minutes, and we haven't seen that all year. So look, we've had a look at that. We've had a look at why, and look, hopefully we've put it right so we can be a better team today.
You made a number of changes. Are most of those tactical for this afternoon?
A couple tactical, a couple of knocks, unfortunately. We've had a couple of HIAs, Fraser Balmain, who's been fantastic for us, but he's fine, it's just protocol. And the same for Alfie Garside as well. So look, disappointing to lose those lads who've been fantastic in recent weeks especially, but again provides opportunity to other lads to come in. We obviously see Siva come in at 13, which provides certainly a different threat on our part as well. So yeah, look, it's disappointing to lose those lads, but opportunity for others to come in and put their hand up.
Opponents Chinnor, first side to win at Sixways this season, and then they also narrowly defeated you on their own turf. So they come here probably with high expectations. How do you try and sort of neutralise them?
Look, I think we've got to be very aware that they've beaten us twice, which is a really good sort of leveller for us from a mindset perspective. And then obviously you break it down and you look at why they beat us. They have a very effective, simple game plan. They'll maul a lot. They won't play a lot of rugby in their own half. They'll kick to contest and get the ball back. So we'll have to be good in the air. We'll have to defend mauls well, obviously, and then it's about getting our own game on the pitch and get points on them as well. So look, we have to be aware of what's coming from their point of view, but that can't take over the game. We've got to get our game on the pitch to make sure that we're getting points on the board.
And do you think the weather's going to have any impact on today's game, or is it just going to be spitting? I don't know.
Well, look, at the moment it's drizzly, isn't it? But it's not windy. Wind's always the worst one, isn't it? Wind's always the worst one. So look, hopefully not. But if it does, we have to adapt, and it's the same for both sides. So yeah, look, if the conditions do have a part to play, then it's a big day for the forwards.
Thank you very much for your time. Good luck this afternoon. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Nick, playoff rugby in the Champ. This is what everyone's sort of waiting for after those 26 rounds. A lot of excitement, I should imagine, in the squad.
Yeah, there is. The guys have done brilliantly to finish 5th, and now it's all to play for, and it's kill or be killed. And a lot of these guys, this is sort of like the highest level they've played, or the most important match they've played, and they've earned the right to have a shot.
Is there a difference in the atmosphere within the squad compared to when you came to Sixways at the end of December?
Not really, because look, they look forward to it. I mean, it's a great ground, isn't it? It's a Premiership ground, or Prem ground, sorry, in everything, but obviously their status. But what I mean by not really is we've literally had only about 23 players. So some people could say we've timed it quite well, that we managed to get 23 players after round 26. But we've had to look after the boys this week to make sure they get through. But at the same time, you can't drop your intensity and standards. But the lads have prepared really, really well, and they're in a good place. At the end of the day, you play 26 games. We finished 5th. We've got the same amount of wins as the 3rd place. We're doing something right, and we're not going to do anything different today. There's no smart tactics or anything like that. We play our game and see where it gets us.
How much confidence do the players take from obviously winning here in December and then also winning at Kingsley Road as well?
Yeah, it's nice to know you've done that, but look, this is a different animal, and I've been around long enough. Teams have done a double over teams. When I was playing for Harlequins and things like that, and then you just got that little bit of extra, hunger, desire, forensic detail about why a team's beating you, and the tables can be turned. Look, I addressed that on Tuesday with the boys to make sure that there will never be any complacency with our group, but it's going to be a completely different animal that they face today. These guys, they've got guys that have been in playoffs at, as I say, at Prem level as well. It's a different intensity, different execution, and different pressure. But as these guys, let's see how we go.
You'll obviously stick to your game plan. What are you expecting from Worcester?
We'll expect a response. Obviously, from last week, we had the same when we played them. I think after getting hosed by Pirates away, and rugby, a week's a short time in sport, as the cliche go, but it is. You can turn it around very, very quickly. So that first 20 minutes is not going to be for the faint-hearted. It's going to be all fire and brimstone. But we've got to keep our discipline. We've got to stick to our game plan and make sure we buy in whatever happens in the first 20 minutes. And in fact, that's what we did really well when we came down here last time. They scored after about 6 seconds from a short kick-off. Didn't phase us at all, and we built into the game and managed to sneak in the end.
Well, Nick, all the best this afternoon. Thank you very much.
No problem. Cheers, John.
Well, great to hear from both camps there ahead of this one, and Nick Easter saying that it's a bit of a miracle that his team have managed to get 23 players out into the playoffs after those 26 rounds of Champ Rugby that we have witnessed. We are at the playoff stage, and this is the final quarter-final of the day here on Clubber TV. The Worcester Warriors taking on Chinnor. The Champ Trophy on display here at Sixways. Both teams will run past it in just a moment's time as the crowd continue to fill up. Well, the draw in the quarterfinals, Coventry playing home against Hartpury a little earlier on today, and it's the Worcester Warriors here against Chinnor. The highest ranked quarterfinal winner will go through to take on the Bedford Blues, and the lowest ranked quarterfinal winner taking on the Ealing Trailfinders in a week's time at 4 o'clock at the Trailfinders ground. So let's take a look at the two lineups, and they have been affected by a few bumps and bruises. We heard there from Tom Cruise about Worcester Warriors picking up a few bumps, specifically in the centres. Alfie Garside is out with an HIA concussion protocol. That says Siva Nawalango comes into the centres. He's familiar really playing there, but it's going to be interesting to see what he has to offer, because he has explosive pace and he has awesome power as well. And in the forwards, well, Billy Keast, Austin Wallace and Ash Challenger make up that front row. On the bench, good to see Tim Hoyt returning, and Hugh Bokenham is there as well. Chinnor, well, a number of injuries for them, and they've had to turn to the likes of Oscar Yandel, who's only made a couple of appearances so far this season, coming in at fullback. Pascoe and Chamberlain once again comprise the halfbacks, and they can rely as ever on Jamie Campbell and Connor Brockschmidt in the engine room, with an awesome back row of Harry Dugmore, Will Cave and Cameron Rafferty. They've just been led out onto the field of play by Alan Walker. 14 tries already this season. The home fans awaiting the arrival of the Warriors, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Sam Lerner up here in the box. Sam, we heard pre-match from you just how excited you are about the return of Championship playoff rugby, but also just this contest between, well, the underdogs in Chinnor and the returnees in the shape of the Worcester Warriors, and the fact that the Chinnor team have rolled them twice so far this season already.
Yes, odd, isn't it? We talk about Chinnor here as the underdogs. I think they are. They train twice a week. Worcester, they're fully professional. However, exactly like you say, Chinnor have won both contests that are happening in the regular season, so they will be very confident that they can win this one as well.
Well, Nick Easter spoke about the awesome achievement of his Chargers to finish 5th in the table in the regular season. They get an opportunity to extend their season here by getting into the playoffs, and they could feasibly extend it by a further fortnight were they able to win today and win at Ealing in a week's time. But the first obstacle they have to overcome, of course, is that of the Worcester Warriors. The Worcester Warriors, well, they have a very unwelcome run of form coming into this one. 4 losses on the bounce, and as we heard from Tom Cruise, also really disappointed with that final 20 minutes that they put up against Coventry, where the floodgates really opened as Coventry ran in tries at will and ended up with a final score of 64-28. as a consequence, as we also heard from Nick Easter, expecting fire and brimstone in the opening 20.
Yeah, it's been a very ugly spring for Worcester so far. They've won once in their 5 games they've played in April and May. It was interesting to see how late they were coming into the changing rooms. They stayed out there for a long time. There seemed a heightened intensity in their warm-up to perhaps what we saw when I was last here against Bedford. I think they're really up for this. And as you say, Chinnor, with a few injuries, it's going to be interesting who actually has that underdog status. Worcester looking very confident in their warm-up and as they run out onto the pitch there.
Well, it's Nathan Chamberlain who has taken the ball in hand. Richard Gordon is our referee.
Wait for those kids. Just going to wait for the kids, lads.
So Nathan Chamberlain will get us underway, and he goes deep. Immediately, that ball collected by Matt Rogerson.
Carry back. Time in.
Patiently waiting for this ball. Lloyd Williams, who can kick off both feet, of course, goes to the left boot initially. And a first test there for Oscar Yandel, who manages to collect that ball well. Pascoe fires it out. Pascoe goes again, good hits coming in, and Kieran Goss with his first touch. And the Warriors certainly do look up for this. They have put in some huge hits already in the opening exchanges, and Pascoe is, I think, going to turn to his boot this time. Hoisted up in the air by the Chinnor scrum half. Can they challenge for this? Well, Louis Brown lost it. It's gone backwards off hands, and in the end, foraged on the ground there. Some great work. But that has gone out on the full. And Will Reid puts his team under pressure.
Interesting, you mentioned earlier that Ngaulagu not used to playing in the centres. I don't believe he's ever started in the centres in his career, but there he was out on the wing chasing that kick. Had it stayed in field, I think he would have been a good contender to win it back. But a good start from Worcester. They put them under some pressure, but that's a massive error there from someone as experienced as Lloyd Williams.
He'll come in.
Alan Walker goes to the front of the line where Brockschmidt is the target. Chinnor will look to use their maul. They'll already be delighted that they haven't started in the same way, the same vein as they did up here on the 27th of December when Worcester scored a try after around 20 seconds right from the kickoff. Kareem bursting through and scoring under the posts, but Chinnor still found a way back into that match, and in the end won it by a single point. Through the hands, Chamberlain, Goss tries to slide round the outside, has support here, out onto the wing. Grant Hughes just bundled into touch short of the line.
Beautiful bit of play by Kieran Goss there, coming all the way off his wing to Agni Exiumba. Worcester just didn't seem like they were able to prepare for that, and massive opportunity there for Chinnor that does ultimately go begging.
Quick line out taken by Worcester here, and they have the ball in possession, driving over it.
Stay last. Use!
Second one for Yandel, who collects it well again and manages to dance round the advancing Hallam Chapman. Pascoe. Now Langer is up quickly. Borton, that's gone far forward. So it's our first set scrimmage after 3 minutes. It's going to be a Worcester put-in.
I'd be impressed with Yandel. I'm not surprised that Worcester are targeting him. As you say, only 2 starts this season, but he's very good under the high ball so far.
Just taking a look back at that opportunity. And Grant Hughes just unable on that occasion to make it to the corner, and bundled into touch. Just saw really good defence from Worcester.
We talked about that stability, guys. Slow call, remember.
Big opportunity for Ash Challenger, Worcester's tight egg. He's making his first start since the game against Chinnor here in December. Fairly underrated tight head. He's actually keeping out Tim Hoyt, who's off to Lyon in the top 14 next season.
Both teams are pre-engaged. We talked about holding that gap.
Well, the referee wanting to stamp his authority on the set scrum right from the off, which I think is a sensible option here, but Chinnor will know that they will have the ability to target Worcester Warriors in the set scrum, because Worcester have struggled at times, notably when Bedford came here, Sam, when we were both last here together. They really struggled there, but they have had their moments against Ealing where they didn't really ever get on top in the set scrum, and here it goes down.
You spoke earlier with Matt Everard about the fact that it might be wet, but at least it's not windy. But the wind is picking up now, which, as you say, the set piece has become so much more of an important factor when the weather's poor. Then obviously there's going to be more scrums. With this wind, that pass that was well forward just earlier, that was obviously influenced a little bit by the wind, I think.
The Worcester bench, plenty of talent ready to come on. Jasper Spandler, Levan Atave, Tim Hoyt, of course, we just mentioned. And a penalty is given against the Worcester Warriors. A real positive fill-up for Chinnor, and Alan Walker looks for his fans and punches the air. Although I think he did it directly to a group of Worcester fans, and they didn't like that very much.
Yeah, Billy Droldry's lunging in there to keep the peace.
All right? No, you don't need to be in there.
Must be on the far side, I think. That call came in from the assistant referee.
Touch found by Chamberlain. And Chinnor, they have throughout this season prided themselves on picking up points when they enter the red zone. It was something that right at the beginning of this season Nick Easter was talking about they needed to improve it. Talked to John Vaughan about it, who we will hopefully hear from at half time, and it is something noticeably that Chinnor have improved upon as the season has progressed. Jamie Campbell is the target, imperious in the line out. The maul is formed and they rumble into that 22. Alan Walker protects the ball. Worcester try and bring it to a standstill. Plenty of weight thrown in there from Conor Brockschmidt. Pascoe is told once, so it will have to come out. Who's the option? It's Borton on the crash ball, and he's driven back with a ferocious tackle. Ball comes loose and is now collected by Doug Moore, who manages to burst through a couple of tackles. Players trying to get back into onside positions. Another forward foray made by Rafferty. Brockschmidt this time. Discipline here from Chinnor needed. Borton. Will Cave rides one tackle. 5 metres short of the line. Brockschmidt goes again, but he's repelled on this occasion. Heavy hits raining in from Worcester.
Ball's available.
Mazudenhout, the latest to carry. Momentum gone a little here for Chinnor, and having to start again. Rafferty.
Ball's available.
Pascoe. Mazudenhout. Will Cave dances through. Forward momentum again, and coming out, Tim Anstey trying to intercept. It's not forward, so an advantage being played here for Chinnor. They will have a penalty just shy of the line. The chip through, picked up by Garside.
Knock on only, he's gone for it with two hands.
Well, the decision of the referee there is that it's just a knock on. I think he's been generous.
Yeah, it was a big paw in there from, I think, as you say, it was Anstey. I agree. I think it was only one hand that he went with for there, so I'm surprised that's not more impressive though by Chinnor. Like you said, the momentum fell apart, and then it was picked up again by Will Cave, who's been fantastic so far. Some amazing footwork.
Well, Will Cave is someone I feel would make it into a team of the season. He has been quite outstanding for Chinnor in that back row, along with probably nominations would be Alan Walker, Jamie Campbell.
Interesting to see Doug Moore here packing down at 8. He's got 6 on his back, but he's going to pack down at 8 here.
Free kick given So far from the set scrum as Dugmore taps and goes himself, trying to line himself up against the back. On that occasion, it was Billy Twelvetrees, and Twelvetrees made a really good tackle. Pascoe going to the left. Worcester ready for this. Through the hands, Bezuidenhout drives forward. Chinnor inching towards that line, but Brockschmidt is collected and taken back a couple of metres. So once again, they will have to try and find forward momentum. Dugmore going with Borton, supporting him on that shoulder. Pascoe into the hands of Bezuidenhout. Chamberlain drives over.
No, never on the ball. Never on the ball.
Pascoe goes again. Will Cave. What can he create here? Answer is nothing this time. Pascoe. Patience. Crucial here for Chinnor. They keep on knocking at the door. Rafferty. Pascoe. Little dummy to Hughes.
Turnover maybe, I think. Yes, turnover for Worcester. I think just because scrum went with the penalty, I think that was unplayable. Interesting there, just as he was making the pass, Pascoe was hit to the deck, and then that would have slowed the ensuing buck, and I think that's where Worcester went in. We see him get hit here. Is it the next phase, I think, as he gives the pass away?
Do you need time off? Time off.
Yeah, that's good work by Matt Kvezik. I think it is there who gets down on top of the ball. Very rarely see an unplayable ball.
Not bad, isn't it?
But massive celebration there from Bassett. He knows how important that is. That was a huge amount of pressure on Worcester. Although, having said that, the pressure's going to stay on them because it's going to be their scrum here.
Well, a week ago, Worcester had, I would say, 95% of the possession in the opening 15 minutes, and they were trailing 12-0.
Your scrum.
They'd been held up over the line at Coventry. They played all the rugby, but Coventry had one attack and scored, and one interception and scored. And so
still got to do better at keeping that
Worcester,
gap,
they really haven't had any ball so far. The one bit of ball they've had was kicked straight into touch, and so they found themselves straight on the back foot again. It's all defence, but it has been awesome defence so far from the home team. Then the score remains 0-0 after 10 minutes.
Yeah, very impressive from Worcester so far, and they'll be confident that possession means very little in rugby. It's really what you do with the ball, and Chinnor have passed up a couple of opportunities here to score the opening try of the game.
Well, we've had 3 scrums so far. 1 penalty to Chinnor, 1 penalty to Worcester, and a free kick. And one hopes that we might have an even contest, but Ash Challenger, the man, congratulated there for winning the penalty this time, and an opportunity for Reid to clear the lines. Into touch, just shy of halfway.
Yeah, good kick from Will Reid.
Chinnor, line. On the line.
Tim Anstey, it's stolen by Jamie Campbell though. Well, that was one feature of the game between Chinnor and Worcester here in December, was the fact that Chinnor dominated in the line-out. It spilt over here because the ball has been won back by Worcester on the ground, and both packs decided that they need some more conversations. Referee summons them away from each other, and eventually the two sides have a party of the ways. Kai Owen and Ash Challenger involved in a conversation there, holding on. Penalty to Worcester, and really a first opportunity for them here to set foot in Chinnor's half. Well, the touch is found, but it's only just
make sure we stay there, please.
Managed to make about 10 metres. So first line out ball here in Chinnor's half for the Worcester Warriors. Onto the front of the line after the ball was stolen by Jamie Campbell last time. Looking for some runners here. Burrowing forward. McVetick gets over the ball. Lloyd Williams having a look. Up in the air it goes. And that ball is taken in the end, and a mark is called
Easy, lads, easy.
Getting very impressive by Yangle. There were two players around it, but he just charged in, made it his own, and called the mark there. Looked like it bobbled a little bit, but you are allowed to bobble it and call the mark. You're just not allowed to drop it.
Watch your language.
Good catch. He's been very impressive so far, and he's going to have a kick to touch here. Less impressive.
Yeah, the kick not so good, but
yeah.
as far as Chinnor are concerned, they have at least cleared their lines. But Worcester now with an attacking line out.
Massive pressure here. Jamie Campbell is so impressive for Chinnor. He's the source of their line outs and steals so many line outs.
Anstey, front of the line.
Inside 5.
Great movement from them.
Go on. It's broken off, so you can play him.
Ball is flat from Lloyd Williams. Chamberlain makes the tackle as now Lango came off his line. Reed zips it round. Louis Brown, great hands. Josh Bassett out to Garside. Garside steps back inside one. Just more purpose here as Austin Wallace takes this ball into the contact. He's held by Rafferty. Tackle is called. He's made some good ground there. Keeps it short. Anstey trying to snipe his way down that short side. As Challenger picks and goes. Warriors fans interested here. They sense something's coming. Tyas and Challenger drive. Chinnor's defence for now stands firm, but just half a yard short of the line. Ball comes back. Another pick and go. And the ball is ripped away. Chinnor in an offside position though. Bazudenhout is the player who's been penalised. And now the Warriors can just have a breath and chip the ball into the corner. Referee wants a word with the two skippers.
We've had a bit of push and shove over there. We've had a bit of afters here. It's both teams. I don't want to see any more. Go talk to your teams. Let's cut it out. Let's play some rugby. Happy with that? Yeah, I'll give you time.
Both teams told by the referee to just calm themselves.
You can see they're really up for this though, in the carries and the tackles, in the off the ball scuffles. There's a lot going on in this game. This is a huge game for both of these teams, possibly the biggest in Worcester's modern incarnation in Chinnor's history, I think.
Alan,
we've almost played 15 minutes.
Alan, tell me when you guys are ready and then we'll go.
And it's still scoreless.
Yeah. Wait for me to blow the whistle, yeah? Are you tapping it or going for...
Will Reed has the ball in hand. He's just going to nudge it into the corner, and the Warriors with their best opportunity of the match so far. Anstey misses his man, and the ball is picked up well at the back by Chinnor, who can bring it clear. Rafferty, Pascoe waits for that ball. Jamie Campbell comes in to just give him a bit of a longer platform, and Pascoe sends it up in the air and finds a good clearance. Garside collects it, shapes to take the quick one, but thinks better of it.
Massive opportunity missed there. It's a lot of movement at the front of the line out, and then just thrown to no one. Matt Fezzik had a chance to win that one back, but ultimately well done by Chamberlain.
They get it right this time with Anstey feeding the ball into the midfield, and now Lloyd Williams rips one across to Anstey again, who bursts through. He's so dangerous in these positions. Crucial tackle made just on the edge of the 22. Hallam Chapman this time is the wrecking ball. Reed, Wallace. Tackle is made. Ball will now come back. Fezzik waits and takes. He burrows forward with Ash Challenger for company. Lloyd Williams wants it again.
You're holding him in. You're trapping him in.
Louis Brown, great to see him back. He half rides a tackle from Borton. Pick and go, and now Lango's through this time, and he bursts towards the line. Now Lango's going to go over for the opening score of the game.
Very quick thinking by Ngalagu. He was in that look, just picked the ball up with one hand and charged through, and then outpaced the two Chinnor defenders who were back there, then jumps through to score under the post. That was beautiful.
You have to take your opportunities, and Stephen Alango seized his there.
I think fortunate that we don't have a video there. If you do have to be the last man in the lock there, then I don't think Naulago was. But details.
Benny Twelvetrees has been on fine kicking form from the tee in recent weeks. Although some Worcester Warriors fans have not enjoyed his time at 10, they will have enjoyed the extras that he's been getting.
We talked earlier, John, about those moments in the match. Chinnor not taking their moments at the start, then Worcester not taking their moments, and then this comes from almost nothing. And it's a wonderful bit of skill and then pace as well to get by the Chinnor scramble defence.
Well, will it settle the nerves? Because we've certainly seen some, with both teams passing up good opportunities in each other's 22s so far. But the score, as we approach the end of the first quarter, is Worcester Warriors 7, Chinnor 0.
Carried back! Use!
Ball again collected by Matt Rogerson, the Worcester 8, and hoisted up in the air by Lloyd Williams. A really fine kick there, which Kieran Goss somehow managed to take in the midst of 4 blue shirts. Bezuidenhout smashes through a couple of tackles and gets some forward momentum here.
He's a workhorse with the ball in hand, isn't he? You've called his name so often today.
Access!
Pascoe puts one up in the air. And beautifully won back. Rafferty has it. Pascoe goes again. Bezuidenhout once more, carrying that ball and getting Chinnor on the front foot. Will Cave looking, crying.
Backwards.
He's lost, but only backwards. Alan Walker this time. Pascoe, Borton. Pascoe looks. Once more, Bezuidenhout carries.
Lloyd Williams wants support out wide. Do you think Chinnor might have an overlap here?
Kai Owen, Chamberlain, short pass there, trying to prize away. Through the middle goes Thomas Watson. That opportunity, I think, is gone. Grant Hughes smashes forward into the contact. Brockschmidt, Chamberlain, good hands. Bezuidenhout somehow managed to keep that one alive. Great work over the ball there. Hallam Chapman is unable, though, to turn it over. Borton. Alan Walker, little dummy from him. Back comes the ball once more. Bezuidenhout to Brockschmidt. And then Kai Owen just took his eyes off the ball for a split second, loses it forwards, and Billy Twelvetrees ships it out to Garside, who's got a bit of room here. Garside going, just has that ball prized away from him, and then it's chipped back forwards. And Grant Hughes went into the ground, and the referee said no advantage over call.
I never called it, mate.
So they will come back for the original knock-on by Kai Owen, and it will be a scrum where the Worcester put it.
Yeah, Chinnor just relentless in their carrying. They're not always getting that far forward, but they're just sucking those Worcester defenders in, and it is creating those opportunities. At the moment, though, the handling is just maybe not quite crisp enough to get through and exploit those opportunities, but it is building fatigue in the Worcester defence.
Let's go, lads!
The question that has to be asked is how much fatigue is it causing in the
You've got to be
Chinnor players as
than you were at
well.
that last scrum, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not quite as clear-cut as the attacking team is wearing out the defence. Obviously, if you're not going anywhere with your attack, you can easily just find yourself tired and fatigued, especially as the game goes on, and Worcester seem to be dealing with this pretty successfully. We'll see in this scrum if we finally have one that actually completes. Will be directly behind this scrum, so he can break either left or right. It's an absolute nightmare to defend because you have to count for the kick.
Reed breaks to this side, coming with Louis Brown, and now Lango. Louis Brown back inside, chips through, chase on here for Bassett. Kieran Goss is there, and Kieran Goss finds a good touch. Decent net gain though for the Worcester Warriors, and a good attacking platform here around the 10-metre line. They lead 7 points to 0.
Hold, please. Boys, last warning, you keep stepping across or free kick you. Do it again. Let's go. It's good, mate. Shush.
Anstey at the front of the line. Reed, great pass ripped over, and then fantastic carry there from Hallam Chapman, very nearly getting through. Chamberlain clinging on for dear life. Williams held by Rogerson, looking for Louis Brown. Louis Brown dances his way away along the line, out the back of the hand to now Lango, out the back of the hand from him to Reed. Reed's got Garside outside him. Garside tries to cut back inside. He's half stopped. Quickly recycled though by Worcester. Now Langer again. Billy 12 trees. Kvesic popped back inside by him. Lloyd Williams has it. 12 trees intercepted by Alan Walker, who then sends a fantastic kick downfield, being sprinted after here by Pascoe. But Anstey gets back and just manages to retain it.
Not on the ball.
Pascoe didn't quite manage to get on the ball as he came in to try and jackal that one back, and Worcester, 5 metres shy of their line, are able to look to drive this away and then kick it clear. There's Lloyd Williams' clearance. I'm sensing that they might just be about to score their second try. They find themselves with defensive work to do here, and Lloyd Williams does not look happy about it.
Yeah, I'm getting deja vu. We were here against Bedford when exactly the same thing happened. That one resulted in a try. This is a fantastic territory kick there from Alan Walker. He's got a great boot on him, isn't he? But yeah, this very impressive attack there by Worcester. Louis Brown just found himself running down a dark alley instead of just submitting to the tackle, turning around and managed to find space out wide. They're really electric when they can get moving like this and play that dynamic attack. But ultimately, it does come with risk, and that's exactly what we saw there with that intercept.
Oscar Gandel, the player receiving treatment, and he's back up on his feet.
Yeah. Right, lads, let's get ready to go.
Referee getting the players ready.
Don't know, mate. Come on.
So the line out just outside of the Worcester 22. It is Chinnor ball and collected by Brockschmidt. Bolton runs on that crash and manages to get over the gain line. Pascoe comes back to the near side. Further carries, but they've got to get something out of this. Jamie Campbell fed by Cave. Pascoe goes short again. Alan Walker does make a couple of metres. Pick and go this time. Tacking around those fringes. Looking for it.
Yeah.
Ball held onto by Alan Walker. The hard yards being committed by the forwards here. Bazunti feigns to go. The ball comes back again, driving up towards the line. Chinnor sense that they should get something here. Worcester's defence just about holding on. Pascoe chips it over. Try scored.
It's an incredible finish. I think when you see this again, that was an unbelievable finish if he's got that ball down. They had the penalty advantage, so it was a kick to nothing, but this is absolutely incredible.
Probably would have been easier to say
our position up here completely blocked by the potting shed and a number of cameras as well, so I haven't seen who's managed to touch this down. I'm assuming it would be Grant Hughes over there, but I'm wondering if it's Will Cave.
It's a wonderful weighted kick by Pascoe. He knows there's a little bit of space out there. And then, who is that who puts that ball down? I think it's Grant Hughes, isn't it? I think that's Grant Hughes who gets that down. But that was an absolutely wonderful kick. And then he takes it in the air and just manages to dot it down as he's falling and just before he goes into touch.
Big kick for Chamberlain, which he's pulled across the face of the post. So Worcester retain their lead, but chasing a second try moments ago. James Borton, the scorer for Chinnor.
It really was just a freestyle moment. Pascoe making up on the spot and Borton finishing.
Rafferty collects from the kickoff and relishes the opportunity to run at Worcester. And once again, if Worcester were under any illusions about getting in front and then seeing this home, once again Chinnor have just nagged away and found a way back into the game. 26 minutes played and Hughes manages to get up and win that one. Jamie Campbell tries to put it through, but he 12-3 seizes it, but the knock forward had happened already from Worcester, and so Chinnor will have the put in now at the scrum.
It's been really interesting so far at the line-outs. This game is featuring the top two line-out takers in the champ. We've got Tim Anstey on the Worcester side, and then Jamie Campbell, who we spoke about so far on the Chinnor side. It's really fascinating on Worcester's side because James Tyus is calling the line-outs, and he looks like he's trying to go away from wherever Jamie Campbell is. Jamie Campbell's had almost 100 takes more than the next Chinnor player, but that last line out that kick-started that ultimate try-scoring attack, it didn't go to him, and so it's really interesting, that chess match that's going on between the two teams at the set piece.
Yes, 9.
Picked up by Dugmore, and he charges at Reed. Pascoe, and then it comes off Challenger, so an advantage coming here.
Blue 3.
Clever play from Callum Pascoe. Had no intention of getting that pass to one of his own players. Targeted Challenger, who was slow retreating, and the penalty gives Nathan Chamberlain a really gilt-edged opportunity here for Chinnor to kick this down into the corner.
Yeah, we see this so often in rugby nowadays, off those scrums where you're going to have those slow retreating number 8 players who are in the scrum for the defensive side. If you can play back against the greying, hit them, you are likely either to get that exact situation happening or at least someone who's going to be soft then for the next carry.
Boys, make sure there's access here.
Brilliant kick from Chamberlain, takes play down to 6 metres shy of the line. What an opportunity this is for Chinnor.
They've called 6, I've said 6. Yeah.
Taken by Jamie Campbell, they're trying to peel around the front. Alan Walker for the corner, try scored! He loves scoring at Worcester. 2 at Sixways in December, 1 at Kingsley Road, and now Alan Walker goes over in the playoff quarter-final to put Chinnor into the lead.
It's as simple as rugby can be, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful kick from Chamberlain, and then that maul went from being caught to going over in the corner in a matter of seconds. Nice setup here, Campbell gets it, and then they swing round the corner. Worcester try and push him into that corner, but Alan Walker just clear, and then Lloyd Williams goes for that. I think Lloyd Williams suggests that was knocked on. Don't know if it was, but that's certainly what he's suggesting to the assistant referee. This is just very smart, just go where the defence aren't.
Well, they haven't made life easy for Nathan Chamberlain over on this flank. Every point crucial. They struck this one a lot better, and it is good. Nathan Chamberlain makes the correction, and Chinnor are in to a 12-7 lead.
See if we can see any suspected knock on here in this camera. Possibly.
Rafferty with Josh Bassett closing in on him. Tyus is the man who makes the tackle in the end.
Easy, lads, easy. Carry back!
Pascoe.
Use!
That ball won back by Louis Brown and then picked up by Reed, and Worcester get it to Louis Brown, who goes flat and short.
Tackle!
Lloyd Williams, Sash Challenger, nice short pass there to Anstey, but wise to it were the Chinnor defence. Matt Rogerson trying to get some forward traction. Lloyd Williams again, Reed, Anstey, dummies.
Attacking opportunity now, though. They've tightened up the Chinnor defence, but through the hands of Will Reed. That's the momentum gone for now.
No, not with him there. You've cleaned him there. You've cleaned him there. You've cleaned him there.
Williams is waiting. Hoisted up in the air by Reed. Really good kick, and just held onto this time by Oscar Yandel. So far, it's been very good under that high ball. There's been plenty peppered in on him.
Yeah, hugely impressive. This is a horrible game to make your third appearance of the season, but he's been faultless under the high ball.
Use!
A good friend of Will Cave, who's come over from Ireland and spent most of the season playing fly half for the seconds at Chinnor, as Jamie Campbell gets it across to Pascoe, who smashes it downfield, and Reed was waiting for it. And now Josh Bassett with a chance to run for the first time, and Bassett changes direction.
Option if they come towards us here on the left. Again, Chinnor got very narrow, but again it's slow. And a chance to kick to the corner now, but that was a real opportunity. If that ball came quickly, there's some big holes in this Chinnor defence, and I think that Will Reed and actually the whole back row would realise that.
Well, Nathan Chamberlain popped one right down in the corner. What can Will Reed do? The answer is almost the same.
It's two of the best kicks of the season from either of those two.
Kicks when they count.
Hold. I know. I don't need you doing that. All the numbers earlier, lads.
Massive line out, this one, for the Worcester Warriors. Anstey is found, and they get some momentum from them all. Wallace in control of the ball. Extra numbers coming in here. Lloyd Williams waits.
Don't lift the leg!
Another surge and momentum over the line.
That's Matt Rogerson, I think, there who goes over with that one.
I think Matt Rogerson was shoving, but in the end it was Austin Wallace who's got a touchdown, the hooker. And Worcester back on level terms with that score, with the conversion still to come. Huge moment in the game, with less than 5 minutes to go until half time.
Thanks, mate. We're struggling to see inside that. So just
Okay. Yeah, absolutely right. That's the 10th try of the season there for Austin Wallace, but he has to give at least half of that to the wonderful kick from Will Reed that gave them that opportunity. Looked like the opportunity had gone here. The maul looked to have stopped, and then Austin Wallace just slides through the gap and scores for the what should be a relatively straightforward kick here for Billy 12 Trees. He's not quite as far out as Chamberlain's been for his previous two.
Nothing more than a pendulum nudge from Billy 12 Trees. Beautifully accurate. And so as a consequence, the Warriors are back in front. So around 5 minutes to go until the break. And Nathan Chamberlain will restart once more. Worcester 14, Chinnor 12.
It's been a great game so far. First 15 minutes, as you say, flew by. Last 20 have gone slower because there's been so much going on.
Louis Brown collects it and is wrapped.
Use! Access!
Another steepling box kick from Lloyd Williams, and Garside tried to palm it back, but in the end it's Yandel who's come through and won it back.
Advantage only.
Advantage coming for Chinnor because the ball was knocked on. Alan Walker.
Advantage over!
Pascoe, Cave, short pass to Borton, scorer of that first try for Chinnor this afternoon. Pascoe goes to Chamberlain flat pass to Hughes, who managed to get inside, and Hughes accelerates away. Hauled down just outside the 22, quickly recycled here. Cave nearly there. Jamie Campbell once again. Worcester on the ropes. Long pass to Cam Rafferty, who targets that outside shoulder.
Chinnor ball swung round the near side now. Only 2 on the far side.
Brockschmidt, Chamberlain, hands to Borton. Borton still with the ball in hand. Alan Walker.
Stretch forward advantage. Scrum advantage, Chinnor, scrum advantage.
Scrum advantage being played here as Pascoe is scragged by Helen Chapman, and he can do very little there.
Taking the 9.
So they will come back, and she's been penalised, Helen Chapman, for taking the scrum half. So penalty now to Chinnor, and they can chip to the corner. And well, we know what they did last time they were down here.
Been some brilliant carrying from James Borton. He's not maybe made that kind of dynamic charge through the middle, but he just constantly is there and constantly puts them on the front foot. And when you combine him with someone like Will Cave, who's able to jink through and get on the front foot, this Chinnor attack is very exciting to watch. It's really a kind of complete team performance.
You're joining alongside your last guy rather than in front of him. Yeah. It is off, yeah.
The clock is off. Alan Walker is the player receiving treatment. He's now back up onto his feet, but looking a little unsteady. Scored a try from a line-out in a very similar position.
Let's get ready, lads.
That put Chinnor into the lead for the first time this afternoon. Worcester responded. His opposite man, Austin Wallace, going over for Worcester's second try. Converted by Billy Twelvetrees. 14 points to 12 is where we stand, with just a few minutes to go until the break. It is Jamie Campbell at the front of that line out, and Chinnor getting their numbers in, and here they come, Hughes and Borton, but it's being pushed towards the sidelines.
Once 9.
And now a decision needs to be made. Out comes the ball from Pascoe. No way through for Thomas. Another pick and go this time by Kai Owen. Offside, given against Worcester, an advantage being played here, so a free shot for Chinnor. Held up just shy of the line, over the line. I think they've been held up there.
No advantage. Coming
So
back
it's
to the
back
penalty.
for another
Number 7,
penalty.
you're on your knee when you made a tackle.
Mac Fessick, the player penalised for having a knee on the ground when he made a tackle.
I'm surprised there's been no warning there for a card. We're obviously only 5-6 metres from the try line here. Massive pressure now for Worcester.
Comes in and they sit.
So Alan
1.5.
Walker. Conversation with Kai Owen. Jamie Campbell comes in late. Will he be the target? The answer is yes, and he does manage to take that ball, and they drive towards the corner, but Worcester once again managing to get it out towards the sidelines. Walker ducks back inside. Grant Hughes.
Last feet!
Can Worcester survive here? It's a crucial juncture of the game, just before half-time, leading by 2, but Chinnor knocking at the door.
Leave now.
Brockschmidt leaves it. Picked up by Kai Owen. Tackles rain in. Will Cave, he's not going to be able to get through. Anstey comes across. Doug Moore stands over the ball. Doug Moore goes himself. Warriors' defence has been quite superb in this first half. Chinnor once again find themselves unable to break through, and they've got no real momentum this time, but can they change that up now?
Yeah, they're creeping forward with every one of these pick and goes.
Leave him.
Another one under the posts, half a metre shy of the line.
That is yours, Gordo.
Pascoe looking for that ball. Goes short. Will Cave charges forth. He's held up just short. Ball does come back, and Chinnor can go again. Up towards the line. But Worcester hold and up a go over the line, and try is scored this time. Kai Owen.
Wow. Well, these two teams account for 25% of all the pick and goes made in this league. You can see why they're so effective at them. Chinnor just went through the phases. At no point did they seem to panic. You had Oscar Yangel charging left and right, trying to pull some of those Worcester defenders. But ultimately, it's a carry made from 50 centimetres away, maybe. Just through Billy 12. Truesy goes a little bit too high. But ultimately, if you're able to go that low, you will score the tries from out there. It's almost impossible to stop. Chinnor, the momentum swinging in their direction.
And the conversion is added by Nathan Chamberlain to give them a 5-point cushion at the break. Worcester 14, Chinnor 19. An extraordinary first 40 minutes of playoff rugby here at Sixways, and it is the underdogs, Chinnor, who lead at the interval. Well, it looked as though it could be oh so different when Siva Naulango went over for the opening try of the half. We'll see that in just a few moments' time, but Chinnor, they just never go away. They have had some performances this season. Nick Easter highlighted the one against the Cornish Pirates, which was just a performance which was so disappointing, but usually Chinnor just keep yapping at your heels, even if you manage to get in front. And Worcester have been in front twice, but they find themselves behind at the break.
Loss of network.
So the opening try, Louis Brown, really well tackled, but now Lango seeing an opportunity. Huge paw going onto the ball and then accelerating through. Certainly some questions to be posed about whether he was the last man in the ruck, but the referee waved play on. We don't have video replay in the Champ, and so Naulango's try stood, and 12 trees knocked over the simple conversion for a 7-0 lead. Only 4 starts this season and 5 tries from Siva Naulanga. So Pascoe found James Borton right in the corner. Brilliant collect from the centre and touchdown as well. And that got Chinnor right back in it. Chamberlain missed the conversion, but perfectly wedged kick into the corner. Beautifully taken by Borton, and he dots down to give Chinnor their first try of the afternoon. Well, moments later, and Chinnor were in front. Wonderful kick from Nathan Chamberlain down into the corner, and then Alan Walker burrowing over. His 4th try against Worcester this season. And the journeyman, the skipper, one of the most enigmatic performers in the Champ, scoring Chinnor's 2nd try of the afternoon and putting them in front for the first time. Conversion good from Nathan Chamberlain. Beautifully worked down the short side. Lloyd Williams unable to prevent Alan Walker going over. And that put Chinnor into the lead. However, there was a way back for Worcester, and they, thanks to a wonderful kick from a penalty for Will Reed, in the end saw Austin Wallace go over. So a try apiece for the two hookers. This one putting Worcester back onto level terms. Billy Twelvetrees did convert, and so it was 14 points to 12 at this stage, with just 5 minutes to go until the interval. Chinnor, though, they weren't going to go away, and they managed to earn themselves really good field position. Succession of penalties allow them to go into the corner, and then from the line out, pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. And in the end, it was Kai Owen, loosehead, who smashed over the line to give Chinnor the advantage once again. Conversion added again from Nathan Chamberlain. And so at the interval, it is Worcester 14, Chinnor 19. Well, let's go and get the perspective from both camps who've been watching that first half very, very intently, and join Sam as we hear what they've made of this so far.
Thank you, Jono. So half-time, 19-14 to Chinnor. I'm joined by John Vaughan and Alfie Garside. John, we'll start with you. Was it fair to call Chinnor underdogs before this game?
Well, you keep saying we're underdogs, but we have beaten Worcester twice this season already. But I think probably on the balance of play, it probably is fair to call us underdogs. You know, we're a little village team. We're really delighted to be here. Second season in the champ. Did a good job last year. For us to say we're going to be in the playoffs, we'd have been highly delighted. So we'd have taken that against a star-studded team like Worcester. So I think that's a fair shout.
To talk through that first 40 minutes, you must be very excited at what's to come in this next 40.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty similar to the games we played already against Worcester and the top teams of this league, that we really dominate a bit up front, but when it gets wide, we haven't really got the star players that these teams have, and we saw that when Worcester went over with a bit of magic from I forget his name, the Fijian, the Largo. Yeah, so you know, he just picked the ball up and went straight through. So that's potentially what Chinnor haven't got, that cutting edge, so they have to go to the forwards and just go through the phases. And that's what Nick Easter has ploughed into that team, and then they do that pretty well. So good set piece, good recycling of the ball, and all to play for second half, I think.
Well, Alfie, let's just talk about that from a Worcester perspective. So there's been good moments.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
But maybe just not enough of them.
No, I think credit to Chinnor. We knew what they were going to come here and bring, and they brought exactly that. I mean, we know exactly what they like. They're tough, physical group up front, and they want to stick in things for 80 minutes. So I think for us, it's about not only getting to match them. I think in a couple of areas they're a bit ahead of us at the minute. It's about surpassing that and maybe keeping the ball on the pitch a bit more, keeping the ball alive. Hopefully get some tired legs going around, and that's where, as was previously stated, I think we've got some guys with some serious wheels. So if the ball stays on the pitch and it breaks up a bit, I think we're in for a chance. But at the minute, it's a seriously good contest.
So talk to us. We're seeing Chinnor have a lot more possession. Worcester making, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 more tackles than Chinnor that first half. Is it exhausting?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Making that many tackles is hard work on your body. It's not only exhausting, but it starts to take a toll on your shoulders. So it's tough to do for long periods of time. But I think at the minute, Chinnor are definitely winning those aerial battles, which is leaving us with a lot of work to do in our own half. If we don't win the aerial battles in our own half, it leaves them with a good attacking platform to go from, and we have to make those tackles, and it's tiring. I mean, we back our fitness, but at the same time, it's not a position you want to find yourself in.
Well, John, let's come back to you. Those aerial battles, we've been particularly impressed by Oscar Angel. He's only made 2 starts so far this season, actually 2 appearances, 1 start, I think. How impressive has he been from your perspective?
Yeah, so Oscar's a really, really good player. He's got a really good backstory in terms of his rugby playing ability and quality. He's spent a lot of time, a couple of years in the second team at Chinnor over the last few years. He came with Will Cave. Will's another one who's played probably 2 seasons in the second team, already knocking on the door, training all the time. Took his chance and has been an amazing since probably, I think he made his debut Chinnor's first start at Christmas against the Pirates, and since then I think he's been named Champ Player of the Year on the stats. So fair kudos to him. So Oscar is trying to follow in his track. So I think that's a really good story for Chinnor, who are giving players coming through, not starred names, but giving them a chance. And that's what I think Nick Easter actually makes his players better quality players in a structure of a team, which I think is great news.
So, without swearing, if you're Nick Easter, what would you be saying in that change room now?
He'd be saying, just get on with it, same lads, just bloody keep doing it, go on son.
Basically, I'm taking that because he's a real detail man, but he's a big tough guy who takes no shit. So fair enough. So he'll be saying, just keep doing it, keep piling on the pressure, play in their half, make them make mistakes.
Alf, we'll come back to you. You're getting heckled from the side, but
a couple of lads, always good.
Let's put yourself now in Matt Everly's shoes. As we said, there's been some good stuff. What do they need to work on now in this next 40?
I think, definitely getting up in the air, winning those ball back. I think playing in the right areas of the park as well. We've spent a lot of time in our own 40. I think definitely if we start to apply more pressure at the other end of the field, things will start to look brighter for us. And as I said earlier, I think keeping the ball on the pitch, ball in hand, playing in the right areas. I think we're a dangerous outfit as we've shown throughout the year. So hopefully we get to do that in this next 40. But it's all to play for at the minute. It's been very tight, so couldn't guarantee you anything.
Well, back to you, Johnny. Very exciting 40 minutes upcoming.
The road to glory ends here. The best against the best. 6 teams remain, but only one can take it all.
Ealing make it look so easy. Once again, Bedford unlock the Coventry door. Little gap, lovely offload. That's beautiful from Coventry.
Worcester Warriors have come with a plan, and it seems to be working.
What a famous victory for Chinnor.
Pure ecstasy for those Hartbury players.
Every hit means more. Every second matters, because this is the playoffs. Who will be crowned champions?
Well, the final representative in the playoffs next weekend will be decided in the next 40 minutes here. A little earlier on today, as we know, Richmond were victorious in that relegation battle against London Scottish. London Scottish will now have to go and face Blackheath to confirm their survival or not in the champ for next season. As far as who was going to play in the semi-finals next weekend, the first of our quarter-finals took place just up the road in Coventry. It was Coventry up against Hartbury. Let's go and see the best from that game right now.
Can Hartbury's defence hold out for the time being, but they might be over for the try from close range. And Coventry do respond with the try they were after. 10 minutes in, they retake the lead. Not quite giving themselves the chance to really sort of build any momentum in the aftermath of that try, as Basil Jett sends the 3 straight over the stick, so it's wrapped up on the deck, spun onto his back there. One of the other forwards has got a short ball to Ollie Allsop. What a line hit by the inside centre, and he crashes over.
Try and make on him, who's running like a absolute steam train, and easy finish for him.
And an easy 2 added by Harry Basil Jett as well. Hartbury again, they're going to look to more here from close range. Penalty advantage coming, but they are not going to need it this time. Try score right on the stroke of half time from it since that simulating, but then a flat ball, a great line hit by Murray Davidson, and this time he has the clearance the line and will score. Coventry get their 3rd try, extending the lead to 10. Murray Davidson has his support there for Josh Field. Going from one end of the pitch to the other, it's thrown wide to Ollie Allsop, who will dot down for his 2nd try to bring the scores back. Coventry looking to bring back again, and once again they will get a 3rd try. Brad Denty their best player today, I'd wager, and he does drop down.
Some of those late scores giving Hartpury in the end possibly a slightly more flattering look to the scoreboard. Coventry had already really gone and won that game, leading by 12 with 5 minutes to go. What it does mean is that Coventry are guaranteed to be the highest ranked quarter-final winner, so they will play the Bedford Blues on Friday night. 7:45 kick-off under the lights in that one, and it definitely means that the winner here is going to go on and have a visit to Ealing next weekend. And well, Ealing's awesome performance, Sam, this season, in the end a 100% record, 26 wins. It doesn't really tell the tale of some of those encounters, does it? Because they really did have to dig deep at times.
Yeah, it's unusual. Obviously, a 100% record, as you say. But there were some of those games they started very slowly. There were some they were behind, even going up to the hour mark. But every single time they found a way to win. But it's interesting talking to some punters around today who think they're definitely beatable. That's both on the Chinnor and the Worcester side of things. So they're maybe not as dominant as the league table suggests there.
Well, it definitely does suggest it, obviously, with that huge margin of victory. But one has to say, yeah, I would agree. In the times that I've seen them play, I saw them play at Hartpury. They'd been pushed very close in the 4 previous weeks. It was one of the long runs of Champ Rugby in the early auspices of this year. And they absolutely demolished Hartpury in the opening 40 minutes with just winning every single collision. And that has been something that really punctuates their performance so far this year. The other thing about Ealing, the 2 times they've played Worcester, very, very close games, and Worcester, Will Reed had a kick that came back off the upright, which would have won it for Worcester late on at Ealing in the new year. There is definitely, I would say, a sense from the last time Worcester played them that Worcester, yes, ran them close, but then Ealing were relentless in the second half, and Worcester barely exited their 22 from the moment Josh Bassett went over for their 4th try. Ealing were completely on top, and it was just a matter of time. And I think that's what's happened this season. It's a matter of time before they get in front, and that would be the fear. But both these sides, whichever one wins today, will go with really a shot to nothing, because they'll just go, well, we've got nothing to lose. Everyone expects Ealing to win the title, so what have we got to lose coming down to play them?
Yeah, absolutely. When you win 26 games on the trot, you're the favourites in every single game you're going to play for the next, few years, really. So there is no pressure on whoever's going to face them. And with just 5 points in it, we really don't know who that is going to be yet.
Second half here. A massive 40 minutes for both these sides. Worcester 14, Chinnor 19, and Billy 12 trees. Restarts deep, which I have to say is very unusual. Worcester come into this game throughout the whole of the regular season. Yes! They have been the team that has retained the most ball from their own kickoffs, and yet they kicked that one very deep to try and just get Chinnor on the back foot. And yes! Wind swirling around here at Sixways. It certainly has increased as the night has gone on. That one hoisted up in the air by Callum Pascoe, and Louis Brown collects it and manages to offload nicely. Fessick in midfield, looking to get Worcester onto the front foot. Lloyd Williams having a word with the referee. Reed, that's a tricky one to deal with. It's taken very well by Yandel, who continues to impress under that high ball. Garside tries to get in and cause a menace of himself. Bizunhi, who carried tirelessly in that first half, carries once again. Pascoe, that a little bit too straight up in the air. The ball is in the end won back by Chinnor. Rafferty.
Yes!
Referee looks at him, tells Callum Pascoe to use it, kicking well into this channel. But Worcester have the ball back. Rogerson looking to build up a head of steam himself, and I'm sure some fairly harsh words will have been said in the interval.
Stop here, boys.
Reed, that kick is totally misjudged. And we'll skip along the turf. No touch on it though. Rogerson stayed down on the ground on this near side, which will be a concern for the Worcester Warriors.
It could be serious.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
had a really long layoff right at the beginning of the season with a bad injury. He's played well since coming back. Matt Rogerson just doesn't seem to catch a break with injuries.
Yeah, very, very rarely makes a mistake, Matt Rogerson, but
it sounds pretty bad
in this situation, which is not good. Just on what we've seen so far, though, we've seen a lot more kicking than we saw in that first half. As you say, the wind is picking up. It's not particularly strong, but it is swirling. And I think that both teams, they realise that a mistake here might cost them the match, and so they don't want to play deep into their own half.
Some concerned looks on faces of Worcester fans and also on the faces of the medical staff who's rushed in to treat Matt Rogerson here, because he looks in considerable pain. Referee stays with him. Well, Hugh Bokenham is a like-for-like replacement, really, for Matt Rogerson, should they need him to come on. Fraser Balmain's currently on the field of play as well, out with concussion protocol after picking up a knock against Coventry a week ago. And Cov know that they are through to the next round. Well, it looked as though it was very serious. Now, Matt Rogerson looking to just see if he can squat.
Yeah, we'll get someone for him.
I'm not sure
if
he's going to continue here. You
guys have been really good.
The scrum cap's come off and he's hobbling towards this near side.
I'll put some pressure on the
looks
guys.
as though it is something with his knee, and Hugh Bokenham is the man who comes on to replace him.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, really nasty to see. Matt Rogerson's been fantastic in this game. I think he just mops up anything that goes wrong for Worcester, or just anything that needs to go forward. And it's a sad way to see. Hopefully not his season. Hopefully just this game end. But it doesn't look good as he goes off there.
No, his team will have to win, of course, and come back from trailing by 5 points if his season is to be elongated. Jamie Campbell rises and collects that ball, and the Maul makes good progress up towards the halfway line here.
One out. No, go, mate, go. One's mine.
Billy Keast told in no uncertain terms there by the referee that he needed to exit. Pascoe right up to the edge of that 22 where Josh Bassett waits for it and collects well. There is Alan Walker's shirt lying near the halfway line, and Alan Walker continuing very proudly to play. Lloyd Williams goes up in the air. So Wolf with a brilliant collect there from Josh Bassett on halfway. Back it comes, Reed, 12 trees. Lloyd Brown. The gap. But Goss was there.
Well done.
And Goss drills it
backwards, Chinnor.
into the corner. Couldn't quite find the angle to get that 50-22, and in the end that's a poor kick. It's run dead, and so they're going to come all the way back.
We've got a Chinnor change.
Into
Chinnor,
Chinnor's half.
Chinnor.
Well, after all of his work in that first half and some of the carrying at the beginning of this second half, Bazudenhout is now coming off. He's going to be replaced by Robin Hardwick.
Doesn't get any easier for Worcester though. Hardwick's made the most carries for a prop in the league. So if they were hoping that the removal of Bazudenhout would take away some of that carrying, I think they might not be in luck.
Pertinent little exchange between Ash Challenger and Alan Walker ahead of this scrum. Probably Ash Challenger just complimenting Alan Walker on his physique, I'm sure.
Crouch! Binds! Re-engage far side, go on.
Well, the free kick's taken quickly by Lloyd Williams, and Billy Twelvetrees cuts back inside. Chinnor scrambling their defence here because they are under pressure. First carry for Bokenham. Reed, Louis Brown. We've not seen many opportunities for Louis Brown really to sort of weave his magic. He has such a wonderful meandering style of running when he gets going. Most of his running so far today has been across the line. Reed. McVessick
tackle now.
Held up and then knocked backwards. Twelvetrees back inside. Josh Bassett been hungry to get on the ball in this second half. Josh Bassett, Kvesic, Reed, and here goes Louis Brown. Little opportunity, tries to kick it through. Kvesic is keen for that, and Alan Walker comes up with it out the back of the hand from Walker. Enterprising play this time from Chinnor.
Use 9.
Alan Pascoe.
Too long. This will give Worcester a chance to attack, and there is some space here.
Louis Brown flings a long pass to Hallam Chapman. Chapman up against Borton. Lloyd Williams waiting again. Knocked forward on the ground there by McVessick. He remonstrates with the referee, but Chinnor have got the decision, and they've got the scrum, and they've got the scrum in a great attacking position here.
It was a wonderful bit of defence there by James Borton. There was a massive for Worcester, but Borton just pushed up, held his feet, and then ultimately just managed to close down that Worcester attack, and then they went back. And then there's a knock on here that McVessick, I think he's suggesting it was lipped. So obviously if it's lipped, it wouldn't be a knock on. But it looked like it was just dribbled forward on the floor there.
So another couple of changes made. Remers Rakadze comes on for Kai Owen. Then we've got our first change in the front row for the Worcester Warriors, with Levi Natave coming on to replace Billy Keast.
Crouch! Binds! Six!
Pascoe. Ball is driven forward. Penalty coming here for Chinnor. Callum Pascoe. What does he want to do? He got stuck in two minds 3 or 4 occasions there. He danced backwards and forwards, and the opportunity disappears. But it is back for the penalty. And now, quite an interesting decision here, because, well, not that interesting, because straight away Alan Walker's pointed at post. I was thinking, do they go for the corner, or do they take the 3, which will stretch their advantage to 2 scores? And it is, well, the prudent latter decision that has been made. A sensible decision in knockout rugby, I suppose, Sam.
Yeah, very smart, I think, here. There's been no real clear-cut opportunities in this half, so just a calming 3 points to take you 8 points ahead will be very important for Chinnor. That was an ugly start though for Levi Natave, who was undone in that scrum.
It's a great kick from Nathan Chamberlain, right on the money. Just the one miss so far this afternoon. And Chinnor stretched their advantage, 22 points to 14 they lead. And we approach the end of the first 10 minutes in this second half. Billy Twelvetrees wanting to get things back underway, and goes deep once more. Fed inside to Rafferty. Well, this is a good counter-ruck from the Worcester Warriors, and there's pressure on. Grant Hughes has to weave some magic there for Chinnor, who were under a lot of pressure, and this time Callum Pascoe calls for a secure wedge to be formed so he can kick this one away. Well, touch is found, but it's not that far outside the 22, so Worcester with a good opportunity.
They try to go as quick as possible as well here.
12 trees. Reed. I think it was knocked forward, so Austin Wallace knows that they will come back for a scrum, but can they take an advantage here? Lloyd Williams is stragged by Alan Walker superbly, so they haven't got the pace on the ball, and the advantage is now over as well. The sunlight beams down on Sixways. 12 trees. Juggles that ball. Nathan Chamberlain makes the tackle. Slow to come back once again. Reed short to Bassett, who is absolutely smashed by Borton.
You rolled over this player.
Levi Natave carries well. Williams comes this near side. Now Lango gets it into the hands of Brown. Here comes the ball again. Kvesic onto that outside shoulder. Will Cave with a good hit. Lloyd Williams picks and goes himself. A little bit of more forward momentum here for Worcester. Feels like it's building, but they need to ensure that they stay clean and they don't commit any unforced errors here. Chinnor have come off their feet, so an advantage being played here. Reed into the hands of Garside. Clear out comes from Reed this time. Down that short side, Lloyd Williams.
No advantage, going back.
So they will come back for the penalty.
Number 4 off feet.
Similar decision here. I think I would kick the posts and just try and bring yourself back to within a try.
James Borton's hit there on Josh Bassett, immense.
He has been absolutely unbelievable in defence so far today, James Borton. They've decided not to go for the points, so they're going to stick it in the corner. We have a lovely kick from Will Beat here, who is on fire with these kicks to touch.
James Tyus collects the ball from the line out, and it comes quickly. Alan Chapman, Lloyd Williams bursting through. They've got great movement off set plays in that situation.
No.
And the ball has been lost forward by Hallam Chapman. And it will be a Chinnor scrum.
Substitution, please, Gordo.
I don't know if it's being a deliberate change here, but Lloyd Williams carrying off the base is really starting to make things happen here for Worcester. But I think just gets a little bit eager there, Hallam Chapman, and bobbles it forward. So that's another chance gone begging for Worcester.
Well, Worcester over the recent weeks have scored some really breathtaking tries from that sort of range with very slick training ground moves. But that one just didn't come off, and the longer this goes on and the longer that they're behind Chinnor, the more the confidence will build for Chinnor. Chinnor were in a great position, I have to say, when they played against Worcester earlier on this season. 19 points to 5 up at the interval. They scored the opening tries in the second half as well, and they had, I think, some penalties just to really put them in control. But then Worcester came back at them in a 20-minute period where it looked that Worcester were going to turn it around. Chinnor, they just found something from somewhere, went up the other end, kicked 3 points, and that 3 points from Chamberlain just seemed to take all of that strength out of the resurgence from Worcester, and they held on for a really good 32-22 win. Well, here they lead 22 points to 14. A good nudge from Worcester.
Well, I thought the same as you there, Jongo. That looked like Worcester had the head start. In fact, it looked like Lamaz Lukagze, who's just come on, was under all of the pressure, but not seen that way.
Well, the referee's given the penalty to Chinnor, and he's also just warned the players that they need to calm a little because it's spilled over.
I'll say the same to them.
Nathan Chamberlain. Really good clearance kick once again.
Cut the afters, all right? Edge here, lads, edge here.
There's a real shift here in the speed that the two teams are trying to get set at the line out. Worcester charging there. In fact, James Tyus is kind of urging Chinnor to come in quicker. Chinnor know that obviously they got the lead. They don't need to do anything quickly here.
Line out ball to Conor Brockschmidt.
He's fine.
Alan Walker in control.
Once 9.
So once is the call. Pascoe will need to do something here to get the ball away, but it's lost forward this time by Chinnor. So Worcester managed to turn that over.
Yeah, it's wonderful work there by Bokenham. He just slid through the middle of the line out, managed to get his hands all over Alan Walker so he couldn't break away. And then as soon as the gap opened up at the back of that maul, he just dived on, took him down. And then there's no need to roll away when it's being a maul, so the ball was unplayable. It's going to be a scrum to Worcester. But the last two scrums, they've conceded penalties. So huge pressure on, especially Ngatawe, who's obviously the new arrival here in this front row.
On my fire call!
Crouch! Fines! Sit! Reset.
Well, reset is the call from
Both
the near
of the side
side.
needs to get their feet underneath them and stay up. Both of you. Boys, both of you need to bring your feet up, all right? Quick reset, let's go. Let's mark it. Go, lads.
The forlorn pleas there from referee Richard Gordon for the quick reset.
Crouch! Fines! Sit!
Lloyd Williams does get it out, fired to Reid. Reid to 12 trees, good hands here to Louis Brown, and he does have a chance. Pass to Garside, looked very flat. Garside just manages to be caught over there by Kieran Goss, but Worcester come again. Reid into the hands of Austin Wallace this time.
Great line speed though by Chinnor to sap all the momentum out of this attack.
Reid goes again, saw a little half gap and he accelerates through it, very nearly away, but Brockschmidt brings him down.
The ball's available, mate.
Ball into the hands of 12 trees.
Tackle!
Tackle is made and tackle is called. Lloyd Williams goes again. Tyus, Reid, deep runners. Louis Brown is there, trying to get up fast and press him. Still with the ball in hand. Brown in the end ducks back inside. Will Cave brings him down. 12 trees. Little chip ahead. Anstey half at it.
Late tackle. Number 6, late tackle.
It's a late tackle is the decision against Doug Moore, taken quickly by Reid. Reid to now Lango.
Off goal, it was off goals.
Picked up by Josh Bassett. Well, the Worcester fans sense this is a crucial juncture in this game. Advantage being played. Chinnor in an offside position.
Another penalty advantage, goal 4 offside.
Fessick. Lloyd Williams sees Elior Chapman 4 or 5 times here. Chinnor have been in an offside position. Trying to drive towards that line. Once again, Austin Wallace.
Advantage, number 6.
Ngatawe. Try feels like it's coming. Louis Brown screaming for the ball. Forwards continue to duck and go. Lloyd Williams, this time it is scored. Tim Anstey.
patient build-up, and I have to give massive credit there for Louis Brown. I don't think he actually went forward in that run, but he kept it alive, he kept time on the ball, and when he eventually did go down, there was opportunities for Worcester, and they went through. Chinnor under huge pressure. The referee is actually speaking now. I wonder whether there is going to be a card. So, insult to injury here for Chinnor. They are going to now be carded. There were 5 or 6 penalties in a row there, so it's probably fair enough.
I don't know whether I agree with that as a decision. I think when a try is scored, I think you come back. It's one of those laws of rugby that bemuses me, because they've suffered already by conceding a try.
Yeah, I agree. Just on this finish, it's lovely by Tim Anstey. He just holds his feet and then just slides through the gap. It's fairly impressive for young players out there. That ability here, it looks easy. It looks like he's just flopped over the line. But that ability to move, drift and go through the hole is really impressive. This is huge now for Chinnor. They've got a 1-point lead. They've got to survive this 10 minutes. If they do, be huge rewards for them and massive pressure on Worcester as we head into the last 20 minutes.
Connor Brookschmidt is the man who has been sent to the bin. Luke Carter's come on to replace Callum Pascoe. That ball has gone off the leg twice there, and Worcester were rather fortunate, I think, to come up with it in the end.
Carry back.
Lloyd Williams. Goss goes forward off Worcester hands and is picked up in the end by Oscar Yandel. Luke Carter waits and uses one of his runners there in the shape of Robin Hardwick on this occasion.
Don't lift the leg.
George Stokes into the fray as well. Weighted into the 22, should be marked, I should imagine, here by Will Reid. Just too much on that one. And that is good distance from Reid, but didn't quite get it into the right place. Then that ball is sent downfield by Yandel. Louis Brown can look to counter. Louis Brown's kick up to the edge of the 22. He's chased it well. Carter. Oh, and lost forwards by Reid. So Connor Brookschmidt in the bin. Another 8 minutes that he will have to wait there. Tim Hoyt's on for the Worcester Warriors.
Yes, please, Chinnor.
Yeah, Chinnor here, huddling here before the line out. Worcester coach is not happy at that. They want this to be quicker.
Choice of line out or scrum, and it is the line out that Chinnor have gone for. Jamie Campbell rises and collects it well, and Alan Walker protects that ball at the base of this maul. Carter's kick. That is a beauty to the edge of the 22, but Garside collected it well and then accelerates through.
Gold is low and blue is dipping.
Brilliant tackle from Hardwick. He was away if that hadn't been made.
12 trees. It was an extraordinary pick-up there from Will Reid, who fights forward up over halfway, and as the sun shines down here on Sixways, excitement in the crowd, back inside to Hoyt. Hoyt finds it outside to Josh Bassett, who's tackled well just outside the 22, but again, good momentum coming. Louis Brown, sense there might be half a gap there. Now Langer gets over the ball. 12 trees back inside to Hoyt. Hoyt explodes through the tackle. Hoyt still going. Hoyt inside to Bassett. Try number 4, and Worcester back in front.
Talk about impact from Tim Hoyt. He's been on for maybe 2 minutes. He just slides through that gap, and then Josh Bassett, as all good wingers should be, just there to finish off that try. This is what we wanted to see from Worcester. This is high ball in play. This is attacking the options, attacking the space, and this is absolutely wonderful from them. They are fully on top now with still 6 minutes to go with the sin bin. But look at this from Hoyt. He just manages to free his arm and then give that late pass. And Bassett just reads where he's going. Hoyt drifts left across the pitch. Bassett cuts back on the right, and there's going to be no defenders there. And then Hoyt calmly gives that pass away.
Conversion added. 6 points the difference then with 15 minutes remaining. Worcester 28, Chinnor 22. And once again, Chinnor have to find a way back. There still are 5 minutes to go on Connor Brockschmidt's yellow card.
Yeah, it feels like the momentum from that trying yellow card really swung this game in Worcester's favour.
Chamberlain goes for the steepling restart. Louis Brown's underneath it, and he collects and comes to this near side. Full of running. Austin Wallace is there. James Bolton can't hold on to him, and Wallace gets Worcester back on the front foot. Natave gets in there. Lloyd Williams. Aerial route once more. Kieran Goss is going to try and win that. Tim Anstey knocks it unsuccessfully. Slightly forwards, it's juggled. Vesic comes up with it, and that ball has gone forwards off Tim Anstey, so it's going to be a Chinnor scrum here.
Not your one, the very first one. Yeah. Let's go, lads, come on.
Interesting. Chinnor still not really keen to up the tempo. You can see why they're down to 14, but now with 6 points deficit, I think they're going to go really hard at this scrum though, because there is an opportunity to kick the sticks. And that last scrum, even though Worcester eventually won it, they were under huge pressure. So let's see what Tim Hoyt can do here.
James Bolton is packing down on the blind side.
Crouch! Lines! Sit!
Free kick.
Re-engage.
Goes the way of Chinnor here. It's a pre-engage.
The first one was early, the second one's pre-engage.
What's the decision going to be here? Is it going to be up and under from Nathan Chamberlain? Louis Brown has called for it, and a brilliant mark taken by him. Grant Hughes flying through the air, trying to get it.
Quick about it.
Yeah, it looked like he was under no pressure at all to take that kick there. Lou Brown, fairly impressive. In fact, both fullbacks have been fantastic today. The conditions are not too bad. It's a little bit damp and a little bit windy, but they have both been so impressive under these high balls.
Louis Brown. Pretty accurate.
If he was aiming for us.
Line's yours, boys. Your medic's on. Just...
Chinnor's line
yes,
out.
please, boys.
Jamie Campbell late into the line, it's towards the back. Tyus tried to challenge him for it, but Campbell still successful in receiving that ball, takes it well. And Walker, an advantage taken here, little flick off the outside of the boot, trying to create something around the outside.
No advantage.
No advantage coming though for Kieran Goss and Chinnor, and as a consequence, it's back for the penalty. And here, Chinnor. No, this is what we've got to
seconds.
make.
90 seconds.
90 seconds left on their yellow card. Nathan Chamberlain nudges down into the corner. He's found touch about 10 metres short of the line.
Four blue.
Surprising go for the points there. I think points would have pulled them right back into this game, and they would have drained the last of the Simbing time.
Tava Ndamande is on in place of Alan Chapman. Brilliant over the ball. Most turnovers in the champ so far this season. Line out ball is really well taken. Clever play from Chinnor, and Alan Walker in control of this, driven out towards the line. He's going to get it into the hands of Doug Moore here. Here goes Doug Moore, checks back inside. Good tackle. Luke Carter looking for it. Jamie Campbell. Ricadze. Carter. Again, patience needed as Hardwick carries. And Chinnor to Jamie Campbell. Little dummy from Carter, but he goes again into the hands once more of Hardwick. Advantage coming to Chinnor. So they're going to have a go through the middle, out the back of the hands. Still alive, Luke Carter keeps it there.
Fine. Coming back. Keep coming to me, Gordo. Keep coming to me. On me. There.
So
that's your sin bin reversal. Gordo, sin bin reversal. It's clearly that side of the flag. Time off. And we're watching that, don't we? Yes, please, lads. Boys! Don't risk it, all right? 10 minutes to go, Rick. 10 minutes to go, Gordo.
Jamie Campbell collects it as Chinnor go for the jugular. They're back to their full complement of players. Can they get this maul moving towards the line? The referee's very quick there to say once. Campbell tries to get some momentum here. Chinnor wheel their way up towards the line.
Advantage.
A penalty is coming the way of Chinnor.
Side entry number 12. Come to me, come to me. Come off. Come off.
So Billy Twelvetrees has been penalised here for side entry.
Come up, lads. Just want to talk to my AR briefly.
I suspect there might be a talk about whether this should be a penalty try, judging by what the referee Richard Gordon's just said.
Come with me, Mike. Yes. Yes.
It's going forward.
Yeah. Are you seeing it as a cynical action?
It's a cynical action. It's also collapsed. I don't believe that it's.
Okay, so what we're saying is we've got a cynical action by 12 for the side entry. Thank you. Brilliant. 12. Bring 12. Yeah. Got a cynical side entry by number 12 in this area. It's moving towards the line. It's a yellow card.
So a yellow card for Billy Twelvetrees. But at this point, obviously the referee and his assistant not viewing it to be
on the line, lads,
impeding Chinnor from scoring a try. But well, during that period when Chinnor were down to 14, Worcester scored the try that took them into the lead. Chinnor now with that numerical advantage for the final 10 minutes here. They will go again from the line out. Taken. Just one back by Will Cave. It was desperate. Out it comes for the carry by Hardwick. Ricadze stands there. Carter. Fast hands, but the ball is knocked on, and now Langer comes up with it. And they will have space on the left-hand side.
No. Don't be silly. Stay there. Step.
Lloyd Williams.
Brilliant pressure relieving kick. That all started there because that was the one line that we've seen all match where Chinnor couldn't wing it cleanly, and it removed the opportunity for them to go for them all, and then therefore meant they couldn't build that pressure and they had to go through the hands, and obviously it resulted then the ball getting turned over. But huge pressure reliever there from Worcester.
Means Chinnor have possession back, but they have it back on Worcester's 10-metre line. Ball taken, Will Cave. Collected at the back. Here goes Alan Walker, kept short. No way through for Stokes. Carter. Another big carry again, William Ryan this time. Carter picks it up and gets it over the top. Just beyond the fingertips of Doug Moore. And that knock forward gives possession back to Worcester, which has been greeted by, I think, the biggest roar of the day so far.
Yeah, there was an opportunity there. Let's have a look at this yellow card then. So, 12 trees.
Kieran, I've got 9 to go on my watch. Just confirm
That's harsh, I would say, Johnny. I'm not sure there was a maul there. That looked like it peeled off and 12 trees made a tackle.
Blue change, Gordo. 2 blue, 2 blue.
So change been made with Austin Wallace coming off. Jasper Spandler will be coming on.
And Gordo, just for info, both Jack and myself make it about 7 minutes. But if you're happy with 8.
So we're getting the latest timing through from the referee, who said he makes it around 7, but the assistant makes it 8, so I think it's going to be somewhere in the region of 7.5 minutes, I would imagine, left here. Line out, great long throw from Jasper Spandler to Mac Vessick, immediately utilising the new player. Lloyd Williams, tricky one there for Kieran Goss to get. Doug Moore does manage to get the ball, but Will Reid was through on him really quickly. In fact, to Jasper Spandler, who's causing chaos in there under mandate. What a hit that is on Will Cave.
Chance now, chance, maybe a kick over the top here into the space.
Louis Brown does chip over the top. Josh Bassett goes sprinting after it, but he's overcooked it out on the full. And Josh Bassett's gone down.
Not now.
Is that cramp?
This is an unbelievable hit from Undemande.
It's their own time, guys. They're losing.
Absolutely perfect. Drives in, gets his shoulder down, straight through, and then also gets a turnover. That kick there, that was a 50-22 if that bounced in field. I believe Josh Bassett is down. That just looked like clamp there, but almost perfect from Louis Brown. Maybe just a couple of inches out wide, and we got a little bit pushing in the line out now, as we would expect. But we'll still have a player down. The referee seems to want to have play go on. Now we're going to have time off.
Well, Undemande put in a very similar hit on Will Montgomery a few weeks ago here, where you rarely see Will Montgomery from Ealing Trailfinders crawl away from a challenge, and that is exactly what he did. Undemande rearranged him, and he's just done it again here against Will Cave. And well done to Will Cave for bouncing back and getting back on his feet after that hit, because it was colossal.
Ellen.
Yeah, interesting here. We got Josh Bassett down with what looks like clamp. We've also got Tim Hoyt down also with what looks like clamp. They will be hoping that he's not down for good, because he's really strengthened that scrum, and you feel that there might be an element here of the scrum being a key decider in these last 5, 6, 7, whatever minutes we've got left. I'm not sure anyone quite knows, but finally we will get this line. Even with Bassett down, they're going to play on here, so Worcester down to 13.
I don't know whether the referee has noticed Josh Bassett down. I really can't tell, but he's stumbled up onto his feet and he's hobbling along, Josh Bassett, and perhaps another change is needed. But now we've got Doug Moore down for Chinnor. There are some weary bodies out there. It has been a full-blooded encounter. Charge forward goes Thomas Watson. No way through for Chinnor.
First,
and touch.
First man, and then he's taken into touch. First man, he's
It
won the ball,
means
and then he's
that
taken into touch.
Chinnor have the line out.
Who's that for? 6. Gold change, 6 gold. 6 gold.
Be interesting to see what happens here with Doug Moore down, whether Chinnor will also be forced to take the line out.
11 is being changed. Blue 11 is off.
Doug Moore's coming off, and so
he's got off the back and he's been changed.
is Josh Bassett. So
Just over 5.
Gordo is coming off to the side, so happy to play through.
I think that's Lawley Taylor who's come on in place of Bassett, but it looks like he's going to go into the centres, I think, with now Lagu back onto his favoured wing in this case.
Jamie Campbell again. Tim Anstey was up and so close, just fingertips stopping him there. They let Alan Walker go. Alan Walker to Kieran Goss. Kieran Goss accelerates through. Ball is cleared out well. It's untidy from Rakadze through the back of the hands there, but then Lloyd Williams scarpers through and turns it over for Worcester. And Chinnor looking ever more desperate and also fatigued out there. An advantage being played here for the Warriors. Side entry against Chinnor, and that will just suck away some more time. Worcester 28, Chinnor 22. The Warriors closing in here, and Demande is now receiving some treatment.
Relax.
Chinnor just needed calm heads there. The ball bounced down. Jamie Campbell just pick it up and carry it in. I think instead he tried to go through the legs and there wasn't anyone out there. Then Lloyd Williams, who's been fantastic today, managed to make that break to the halfway line, and now we've got Will Lee to step up and see if he can get it 5 metres out once again.
Well, he won't mind if he doesn't put it quite as close on this occasion, Will Reid, but what it does mean is that Chinnor are encamped inside their own half.
Keep coming. Steer.
Long line out again from Spadler, who's done so well there.
Line out. Doesn't matter. Over top, it still needs to be straight. If it's throwing over the top, it still needs to be straight.
They've said not straight. Obviously, a difficult one there with such a long line out. Normally, they let it go because it's not been competed for. In that case, I think he's decided it wasn't straight. I'm not sure if that was in Worcester's favour or if it went Chinnor's direction, but Worcester just not able to kind of seal this game off. That could have been the opportunity there to take this away from Chinnor, but they've given Chinnor another opportunity. Let's have a look at this. It looks okay. It's hard to.
I mean, it's quite a harsh call, and it's very rare that you see referees bring those back nowadays. Anyway, perhaps a lifeline for Chinnor. 3 minutes remaining here. Worcester 28, Chinnor 22.
That should be a penalty to someone, I suspect, given how the scrum's ended up.
Stokes gets it out. Carter helped on its way. Massive hit from Naulango, and that turns the ball over. And then picked up again. Naulango just short of the line, reaches and scores.
What an unbelievable effort from Naulango. He makes an enormous hit. As the ball bounces out, he picks it back up again, almost gets tackled, and then finishes the job. It's 3 game-changing moments in one. Surely now this is Worcester's.
Well, he started things off, and it looks like he might bookend them here at Sixways. Stephen Naulango, in his first season from Bristol, scoring his 2nd try of the afternoon. This hit on Kieran Goss, just seeing the ball go loose. Brilliantly picked up, carried forward there by Will Lane, and then Naulango getting away from Cave, tackled bravely, but still having the wherewithal and stretch to reach out and touch the ball onto the line. 33 points to 22.
Mike Ryan's done 2 and 12 goals.
Exactly the same try as before, just without as much lunging.
And with Billy 12 trees in the bin, Will Reid adds to his tally with the boot this season. And the Worcester Warriors look as though they are set for a date with Ealing next Saturday.
Will Reid shout at them to watch the short ball. Chinnor need to win this one back.
Well, Tyres has lost it, and Stokes comes up with the ball. Cave, Chamberlain, this time they get it away. Sprinting forward from Thomas Watson. Grant Hughes, I think, has gone into touch. The flag is up.
Changes, please, Rich. Blue 9, blue 10. Time off. Blue 9, blue 10, sub.
Sam Hanks, who's another man introduced here. Looking on longingly.
Time's off, lads.
Lloyd Williams.
Can we get those subs on, please?
That is the yellow card now as well, Rich.
End of the yellow card. Billy Twelfthrees can come back on. And we see Will Lane and Tiff Eden make their way onto the field of play for the last few moments here, just to close things out for the Warriors.
Time on.
Spandler goes in, picks out his man. Really well taken by Bokenham.
Once blue going nowhere. No, go back. 9, go back. Offside. Offside.
Got to listen to the referee there. He's shouted at the new 9, Will Lane, a couple of times there. They had to go back because the ball hasn't moved off the mark, but he's just charged in, hasn't listened, and it's a penalty. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, the referee's giving you a chance to correct that decision.
Unfortunately, there are no losing bonuses in playoff rugby, and you feel that this is an insurmountable task for Chinnor. What they have to do is score here, but I feel that it might well be the last action of the game, even if they do. Jamie Campbell collects. Ball is driven up towards the line. It's a ferocious maul, this one, and extra numbers come in. Can Chinnor score their 4th try? Up and over. There it is.
It is time. Time's up. Time's up. Time's up.
So the referee has indicated the time is up. Luke Thompson scores Chinnor's 4th try. There will be a conversion.
I can't do that for you, mate.
And it will lend an air of respectability to the scoreboard for the visiting side. And Sam, with the knowledge that Worcester have won here, I've been holding off getting your opinion on who's player of the match, just because I didn't know who's going to win, but who's it going to be?
Well, I think some honourable mentions from the Chinnor side. Oscar Yangdal and James Borton I thought were absolutely fantastic, as was Louis Brown for the Worcester Warriors. But I really think for the impact he's had on this game, Sivan Aulagu is going to be the player of the match.
Outstanding performance from him. 2 tries, not quite bookending it. As Chamberlain nudges this one between the posts. In the end, though, Worcester's 5th try proves crucial. The Warriors are on their way to London to take on the undefeated Ealing Trailfinders next weekend. Smiles as they finally post a victory over Chinnor this season. In the end, just 4 points separating these two sides. 33 points to 29. Worcester are victorious. Chinnor's dream comes to an end. Worcester's goes on for another week at least. But what a spectacle and what a fantastic advert for Champ Rugby, Sam.
Yeah, this was a fantastic game. It swung multiple times in either team's direction. I think ultimately you probably saw in that last 20 minutes Chinnor's legs just kind of rang out, and it wasn't helped by that yellow card. And ultimately, although they had a chance, Worcester couldn't put this to bed. They were far improved from the previous 4 games. I think we're seeing a totally different Worcester to what we saw, and this playoffs is now wide open, and they have a chance here to go all the way. Ealing, as we said, have not been beaten this season, but on this performance and perhaps even another week of Worcester getting even better, I wouldn't put it past them.
Final score then from Sixways, 33 points to 29 for the Warriors. A massive victory for them. Delight for Lloyd Williams, who was, I would suggest, probably right up there alongside Siva Naulanga. Naulanga with the brace of tries, and that second one so crucial in the end with that late try being scored by Luke Thompson for Chinnor. Smiles all round for Worcester, bringing that run to an end as well. 4 losses in a row. Tim Hoyt, well, one explosive reaction from him coming off the bench, and he certainly served as a really important impetus in the direction of the game, and he's congratulated by his coach Matt Everard over there on the pitch. It is a growing family. We spoke about it from the very first moment that we came up here to Worcester for the return of rugby, seeing them take on Bath in a pre-season friendly, watching the likes of Louis Brown slice his way through. So let's take a look at the second half tries in what was a festival of rugby in the end. And Worcester, well, they had work to do at half time. They were trailing, and Tim Anstey set the ball rolling. It was a crucial moment in the match as well, because a yellow card was shown to Conor Brockschmidt at this moment. And after that try was scored by Anstey, it saw a bit of a change in fortune for the Warriors. This didn't put them back in the lead. They were still trailing by 1 after the conversion was added, but the yellow card for Conor Brockschmidt, pivotal. So 5 minutes later, Tim Hoyt, this was the impression he had on the game. Josh Bassett just inside, a great support line run there by the winger. He touched down, that was try number 4, that put Worcester into the lead. And it was a lead that they were not to cede for the rest of the game. Lovely play from Hoyt. He's been on the bench in recent weeks and having a real impact off the bench this time round. So try number 9 for Josh Bassett. Billy Twelvetrees went to the bin, and that certainly made it interesting going into the final 10 minutes, because Worcester knew they were likely to have to finish the game with just 14 on the field of play. In the end, it was not quite as crucial as one might have imagined. Chinnor trying to run from defence. Now Lango making that enormous tackle. Ball won back by Worcester, and then the paw on the ball, sprinting through, evading tackles. Will Cave in the end bringing him down, but reaching for the line, touching the ball onto the line. Try number 5 for Worcester, and that stretched them into what was in the end an insurmountable lead. There's a lovely moment going on the field of play at the moment, with the Chinnor players just going over to say thank you to their fans, waving a flag in the colours of their club themselves. And they did themselves proud here. They lose by 4 points in the end. That score, though, did prove to be especially crucial, because Chinnor had one more try of their own before the final whistle. Replacement hooker Luke Thompson going over to score. Chamberlain with the conversion. Chinnor certainly doing themselves proud, but in the end coming up just short. Well, let's get some reaction from on the field of play then. Sam will be chatting to some of the players and coaches.
Well, thanks, John. We're joined by Nick Easty, director of rugby at Chinnor. That was a hell of a game, Nick.
It was a hell of a game. You know, it's better than some of the stuff that's been served up in the Prem. 94-33 in the blowouts. There was proper intensity there. There was attrition. A lot was on the line. but our guys, I'm absolutely tremendously proud. We're a better team for 55 minutes. They up the intensity for the last 25, and sometimes that tells in these sort of big games. But our physicality, our intent, how clinical we were was excellent. There were some questionable things going on there. I thought their first try, the guy picks it in the ruck from the back foot. That's got to be ruled out. And ultimately, it decides the game. And I think they did it again in the second half. So there's nothing we can do about it. Unfortunately, it's decisions made outside our hands. But I'm tremendously proud of what the guys have done this year. And it's a pity we don't get another shot at it next week, because you're not going to say we deserved it, but they gave their heart and soul to that game, and it was, as you say, come back to it, a hell of a contest.
You talked about some of those decisions there. Do you have any grievances about the yellow card being awarded after the try?
Yeah, well, we've had that. We went down to Bedford 2 weeks ago. They gave 5 penalties away 5 metres out, and there was no yellow card or warning at all. And as I say, look, when you're the home side and they get a big support, you get those decisions. You just hope the man in the middle has got the strength to sort of see it as it is and be consistent. That's all.
So just a couple of comments on your own players. We spoke in commentary about Oscar Yangel. Obviously, he hasn't played much this season, but he was exceptional today.
He was, and that's what the club's about. Guys are in there, they're grafting, it's hard. The standards are very, very high, and when you get the opportunity, you've got to take it. And he's waited all year for an opportunity last week, and then he's got the big one today. And sadly, obviously for the team, we haven't won. But again, another brilliant performance, and he was one of every single player out there.
You sound very proud of this team this season. Is that how you'll look back on this season? Is it opportunity lost, or was this a great season for you?
Today's an opportunity lost, as I say, because I thought we were excellent for 50 minutes, and we had a chance. We had a chance, and we knocked it on, and those sort of things decide games as well. But it's about building. We'll look back on the season incredibly proud. What an effort we've done. 2 nights a week training against full-time opposition, and beating most of them. But it's about going forward now with purpose and continue to grow as a team and bring through the next generation of players, improve the players we've got, and because everyone's going to be doing that next season, so you can't stand still.
Thanks so much, Nick. You should be very proud of that.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
So Nick Easter, well, I'm sure that he really is proud of his players. They have performed superbly, and they only train 2 days a week. They are semi-professionals. They have taken themselves right up to the top, and they will be delighted with their season, disappointed with the way it ended, but very proud of what they've achieved so far. Worcester Warriors, well, they have another week to go. Let's get reaction now from Tom Cruise about what he thought of that game. He was pretty animated up here. I'm sure Sam will ask him about that.
Thank you very much. We're joined by Tom Cruise. Tom, that was a hell of a game out there.
It was very tense, wasn't it? And look, credit to Chinnor, they've beaten us twice this year, so we know what they're about, and they make it extremely difficult to play against. They're good at what they're good at, and actually I thought in the first half they were brilliant in the air, and actually they won the scraps on the floor, and they beat us in the air, and we struggled to get going. I thought in the second half, off the back of a few fixes at half time, we managed to play the game down their end a bit more, and it ended us getting points. So yeah, look, very tense, but a lot of relief in there, but really proud of that effort.
It was interesting, the first start of that second half felt like there was more kicking, more territory, and that you played the game in the right areas. Are those the conversations you had at half time?
Not necessarily, no, but it did end up that way. I think, like I say, it was more to do with who was winning the ball in the air, and look, fair play, their back three really good in the air, and they went to their box kick a lot and got a lot of reward off the back of it, which ended up in territory for them. And look, law of averages is you put numbers in your favour, get people around the ball, you're going to get 1 or 2 back. And once we did get the ball back, we played some good stuff down their end of the field, and like I say, end up in points.
There were some amazing kicks from Will Reed at the penalties to get you maybe 5-6 metres out. How much of an emotional lift is that when that happens?
Yeah, do you know what, look, very, very biased towards forwards, but the difference between the ball being kicked 15 metres out to 5 metres out is absolutely massive, and and it is for your own team, but also the knock-on effect defensively. If you're constantly being put back on your own 5 metre line, you're like, here we go again. Do you know what I mean? So look, we give our kickers the licence to have a go, and it's sink or swim. But look, I'd rather be put 5 metres out than that awkward sort of sticky patch around 15 metres. And Reedy, Billy, I thought Louis kicked really well as well. So yeah, look, really happy with that.
Last one, so Stephen Galagu, he had 2 amazing moments in this game that really seems to change the momentum. He's been played out of position, but how proud were you of that performance from him?
Yeah, look, there was a couple. I thought Seaver was brilliant. He's got that in him. The thing is with Seaver, I know he has individual moments that might look slightly off script, but he's a team guy. He is a team guy. He's been hounded by injury a little bit this season. It's been frustrating for all of us, but no one more than him. And to see him in at 13, he just gives you something different, doesn't he? He's got that in him, and to see him just go play with the freedom he does is it's brilliant. We talk about expressing yourself and showing your personality, and I thought you saw that. You saw that out of him today.
Ealing next week, we know that now, it's confirmed. Are you excited about that game? Are there going to be some surprises coming next week?
Yeah, really excited. Look, semi-final knockout rugby. So look, we're at a really exciting part of the season, aren't we? We played Ealing twice and been within a score twice. Look, they're the team to beat. They haven't lost a game all year, and they've been fantastic all year. But we've had 2 really good games against them, and we're now into knockout rugby, and anything can happen.
Well, Tom, thanks so much for that performance you served up today. It was a joy to watch, and good luck next week.
Thanks very much.
Just go.
So Worcester Warriors successfully through to the next round of the playoffs. Next weekend it is going to be Bedford Blues up against Coventry. That's on Friday night at Bedford with a 7:45 kickoff, and then Ealing Trailfinders against the Worcester Warriors next Saturday, a 4 o'clock kickoff, both vying for a place in the final. And you can watch both of those matches along with the relegation playoff, which will take place between London Scottish and Blackheath. You can watch all of those games next weekend live on Clubber TV as we bring you all of the action from the Champ. But from Sixways, it's farewell after the Worcester Warriors end Chinnor's dreams with a magnificent victory in the end, 33 points to 29.